welcome. Cheers, everybody. Huh? You gotta celebrate on the updates. You get them so rarely, although a little bit more frequently these days, huh? Believe me, much more frequently these days than the past days. So you gotta celebrate. I know I was having some laughs too on Twitter. What do you gotta do? You just gotta have a laugh about it. Obviously, the shit is just getting started, if at all. Not actually take a victory laps, but you gotta have some laughs about it. Again, maybe I think the people who've been invested in GameStop for a long time, they would understand. If you're new to GameStop, maybe this is no big deal, but it's kind of funny. And then you had to, I didn't even pull up the chart. Let me pull that up actually. Yeah, let's see what. So I mean, this is an interesting day, right? I mean, there's a couple of things to know. Cheers, Ming. Welcome everybody. Welcome back. There's a number of takeaways from today, right? And I don't have, I tweeted it. So, who else we got? Devin, welcome. And Daily, cheers, welcome back. Daily, was it you who mentioned that there were so few people on the stream last month? I told my wife that we were having a laugh. And the person who joined last time too and asked if this was advice. That's my type of humor. I thought that was funny too. Not advice, educational, blah, blah, blah. But I thought today was interesting because, so you may have seen on, so I tweeted this too, the two upgrades. And I was joking about that in my tweet where this is reflexivity, you know what I mean? And then people were talking about this, but we analyzed the quarterly conference call on Wednesday during the live stream. We did it. And our takeaway was, this is okay, this is good. It's a little bit more difficult to predict the market's immediate reaction. I had mentioned how I lean bullish. So that's always tough, that one-day reaction. As it turned out, it looked like people were betting on a bit of a short squeeze. But the release itself, the bull thesis was fully intact. So then you give it a little bit of time to digest the market, digest the news, and here we are. We're a week later, and we got more bullish news. You know what I mean? These upgrades are positive. And who was it? It was let's see. So what was it? Up 11. I saw it was up pre-market. So you had Jeffries and Telsey Telsey's talking about $10. And the $10. Right now I feel as though it's already started the breakout. Right? We've talked about that. But the $10 range, you got someone mentioning $10. People start talking. They start chatting about this. And this is why, at least partially, why you had a big update today. But the other thing to bear in mind is that these types of moves for any particular stock, they don't happen in a vacuum, right? There's other things that are happening where, for example, today, the Roaring Kitty portfolio generally did well. A lot of value stocks caught a bid today. And so you can't look at this stuff in a vacuum. There's other stuff going on besides GME. So if I talk about that during the stream. If you're too laser focused on one particular stock, you might miss the bigger picture. And in this case, there were other stuff happening too, and it helped act as a little bit of a tailwind for GME. But that said, to also have the two upgrades, obviously that's going to lead to a good move up. And it slowed down a little bit midday, and then it picked up. Also, this is just one day, right? It's just one day, but the important thing to be watching right now is the price action. See what it does. See how it unfolds the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks. You really, if you're a bull, okay, if you're short, if you're short, you're gonna be a little bit nervous today, don't you? You saw it like peeking its head above, like that kitty, peeking its head above 7, like looking over, and but if you're a bull, you want it to stay in this range up here. And if I back out to the weekly, someone commented on the chart on Twitter, and I said, hey, take a look at the long chart. Like, how do you see this long chart and not think, this is looking up, And so right now, we're just watching the price action and also looking for filings, right? Any updated filings related to major shareholders or a new shareholder even. Other than that, what the hell else is there to do? I forgot about upgrades, you know what I mean? Like upgrades, that's par for the course. And so I was joking on Twitter, the whole reflexivity, right? But this is what happens. And then everyone starts viewing stuff more positively. You know what I mean? You just stay the course. And even if it's not gangbusters, this sentiment starts to change. It compounds. And then people will talk about the upgrades, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's see what it does. Again, we're just this one damn day. And there was other stuff going on today too, which we'll check. Well, maybe we should check the dashboard today. I know we're always focusing on GameStop. Who else we got? Daily. Oh, it was Dale. Thank you, Daily. Thank you. That was Dale. I get the names mixed up. Love seeing your following growing. Thank you, Daily. I appreciate it. Also, yeah, it was either Daily or Dale, or I forget. Someone pointed out that the channel reached 100 followers. So cheers to that. And I didn't realize this, but the 100 follower mark is important because I was able to rename the channel. So it's the Roaring Kitty channel now. Like I can, in the URL, it's in the Twitter. It's in the Twitter. But in the Twitter. How old am I, right? In the Twitter. Come on, jeez. But I thought that was kind of fun. So the 100 mark, who knew? I don't even know. That's great. Musical Felony, welcome Musical Felony. I felt like the news was so fitting for your live stream. Perfect time. I know, right? So Musical, I agree. Like it's been a couple of weeks like this, right? And so I've been having fun. I've renamed the streams and everything like that. Again, for people who don't know, we analyze other stocks besides GameStop, but legit, it's been the focus of this month because there's a lot happening. There's a lot unfolding. People are interested in it, myself included. You can see it's an oversized position in the Roaring Kitty portfolio, and it's been perfect timing for the stream. It's like we get the news. Today it was the news was released early in the day, but even still, it's like a news was released, and they were like, sick, we got a stream tonight. And there's not much to research today, but on the days that there is research to be done, like the quarterly release or Ryan Cohen filing, that's perfect timing because I got to do that research anyway. Maybe you do too, so it's great. Ming, guys, the shorts borrowing is now 35.2%. Cheers, Ming. Let's pull that up. Let me just see here. What is that? The one, the after hours? Oh, yeah, I pulled up that one. I thought that article was interesting too. Let me just see. After hours. What do I want? The borrow rate. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. 30. Is this where you get it too, Ming? This is where I get it. This is based. It's based on what's it called? Interactive Brokers, I think. I don't know how reflective it is of the whole industry, that short interest, but it's a good enough. It's something you can keep an eye on. So yeah, that's creeping up. So it's more importantly the trend. So if you check out this trend, you scroll down. This is roughly that borrow rate, what it costs to short. You can see, what is it? 1 week. Yeah, September 8th. What is it now? September 4th. So 6 days about, but you can see it creeping up. 23, 24. I can zoom in too. There we go. 26. And then it's even getting more today. Again, some people go, oh, the rates rising, so it's a short squeeze. Like, I don't think that. I check it. It was over 100% in like April. It wasn't like over 100%. I don't know. I don't know the historical. Oh, here it is. We got it. Look at this. Wait, what is this? I don't even know what this is. Is that the fee back then? 43%. There you go. So the fee was 44%. There you go. Fee 95.7% back in March 2020. March 23rd, 2020. That was the low for the S&P 500. Look at that. I never put two and two together. Oh, interesting. And how about this? What date was this? March 20th, 97%. So look at that. So you know what I mean? There was no short squeeze. It got bid up a little bit because of the Burry news, but just something to bear in mind, Ming. But I agree it's noteworthy. That's why I got it bookmarked. I'm checking it out too, Ming. Smash JT, really enjoying your energy and takes. Keep up the good work, man. Cheers, Smash. Welcome. Thanks for the comments too. I saw you had a GameStop video. Harsh Patel, I couldn't believe only a $1 analyst upgrade because the stock to go up 10%. I was like, let me search. Maybe something happened too. Yeah. What'd they up it to? From 7 to 8 and from 9 to 10. These upgrades tend to happen slowly. So for example, what's the chart I write down? So what's today? So this was September 14th, roughly, that they made the change from 7 to 8. And now, of course, it hit 8, 2 weeks ago now? I should have two different charts here. When was that? Oh, yeah, about 2 weeks ago, right? So it got up there. So then they're slow to upgrade. Then what could easily happen is it goes to 12, 13, 14, and then they upgrade to 10. Sometimes they're a little bit slow moving. It's interesting. Telsey is actually, I don't know Telsey that well. They were kind of ahead of the curve. They were at 9. I don't remember. I don't track these analysts. So I don't track these analysts things that closely. If someone asks me like, oh, what do you think it's going? What's your price target? I don't have much of a price target really. And so these precise they're doing their best. They're doing like weighted average outcomes. And you got to respect anyone who's at least attempting to do that because it's super, super difficult to do that. But even still, like, I think a lot of people would agree this is a bit of a binary outcome. Probably not necessarily, but I lean toward that where, I mean, people think it was potentially a 0, which I don't agree with, or it could have quite a bit more upside. Not necessarily, but that's how a lot of people have been viewing it, and me to a degree too. So it's probably not 10. It's probably either 15, 20, or 0 in theory. Now, I think 0 is highly, highly unlikely, right? So, but what they'll do is they'll upgrade along the way up, doing their best to update their models. But what happens is the market sniffs this stuff out. The market gets ahead of things, and it's not so much. These are what would you call trailing indicators, and except for Telsey's a little bit ahead because they said 10. I don't know how if they usually stick their neck out like this, but I don't really consider 10 sticking their neck out that much. But nevertheless, like they're probably the highest. But this is going to get people's attention. So remember that tweet that I had? What was that tweet? Let me get it up here. Here, let me bring this over. I should have just done it right there. Let me go do. This tweet here This is important because when you're thinking about the upgrades, all the stuff right here. It was this tweet. Now part of the reason I've been tweeting this stuff is I'm taking notes. You know how we sometimes take notes? I mean, we haven't been taking that many notes when we're doing the research, but I take notes so we can revisit this and you know what was going through your mind. I've been trying to use Twitter for this, where I take the notes and I'll do some analysis and let me document what exactly was going through my mind, why I think that there might be a little bit of a bullish take. So I listed a whole bunch of items. Hey, notification. All right. Cheers. Someone just did that. And so there's some items here. This is marginal analysis. If hopefully you've seen the other GameStop videos that I have. That's there's right there too. I always include that so people can check it out. But like now there's additional things. Like now the upgrades are happening, and this is what I mean. It's setting a bullish. It's setting up like a bullish backdrop. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep on leaning toward. You got to be a little bit nervous if you're short. Maybe there's be some shorts on the stream tonight, but when you see all this stuff, I don't know. It doesn't. Again, the level of short interest, right? Not so much the short interest itself. So here's another thing: the upgrades, because other people will see that it will hit their radar. New 52-week high, and the volume's crushing it. And if this is just one day of an uptick for value, I don't even look at everything yet. I think there was an uptick in value, but if you do get a tailwind, with value stocks, which I don't think it's not my base case, but I definitely mentioned that in a recent stream, where sometimes people will be like, well, what's the fundamental event? What's the catalyst that's going to drive the price upward? I'm telling you, it's happened so many times. Sometimes you don't need shit to happen. You need time passes, and you get closer to what people might perceive a catalyst as the console refresh, even though it's been. Well, everyone knows the new consoles are coming out, but just getting closer to it. And then this stuff type of happens. Like you could get to, this isn't a forecast, right? No forecast yet, but you could get to $10 with there could be no more. Oh, did we get any filings after hours? Let me just check that. I've been checking. You been checking? Nothing. Okay. You could get no filings for a month for the rest of September, and this price could get to 10 just because of that evolving sentiment for whatever reason that's going through people's head. The chart. Like I mentioned, someone tweeted about the chart today. And upgrades, and then I think it is very, very heavy short interest though. So what is it, 118%, 119%? So with such a heavy short interest, it's gonna take a lot. It's not a typical like just because you get an upgrade, it's gonna go up 100%. I think that's unlikely because this bearish sentiment is so heavy, and the short interest as a percentage of the float is a reflection of that. You're going to need a little bit more, but even that said, it could just grind higher. Do you remember the market in 2017 just grinding higher, grinding higher? Painful for a lot of people, I'm sure, because you're betting on volatility or something. And but this could just like grind higher just because people are digesting the news over time, and it takes, sometimes it's not immediate. But it's interesting to me, and this is why we're watching the price actions, because the market's immediate reaction on Thursday was sell it off, get rid of it, right? Get rid of it. And even though we were like, yeah, this looks okay, this looks good, and the only one that should really be alarming is shorts. And I think this still holds true 2 days later, 3 days later. It's no time. Again, if the stock gets down to $5 next week, that will change the discussion a little bit. That's what I mean. This technical analysis is a bit marginal, but sometimes it kind of drives the story a little bit. It does. I'll say I haven't seen too many technical analysts talking about it yet, which is kind of surprising to me because things have looked good for about a week or 10 days, in my opinion, plus the Ryan Cohen story a couple weeks prior. So I still feel like not that many people. We got people on the stream, like we're tuning in, we're talking GameStop, right? But I'm thinking like there should be more people talking about this, that with the borrow rate and all that, and it doesn't feel. That's what I mean. I think we're just getting started. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just think aren't you running out of bearish opportunity? Aren't you running out of bearish news, opportunities for bearish? When are you going to get? Are you thinking because you're going to get a poor Q3 that everyone is pricing in now because they were so? This is the good thing about being outspoken about. I know if you're outspoken about an upcoming bad quarter, the market prices in almost immediately. And so then it gets priced in. Everyone knows it's coming. And then no one really freaks out. Then what happens is, it wasn't as bad as we thought, and the stock rises. You know what I mean? So that's a benefit. Some short-term day traders might have been upset that they were so vocal about it being potentially some headwinds in Q3. Whereas the long-term investors are like, sick. Sell off, exhaust the buyback authorization, and let's keep on grinding toward that console refresh. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't have any short-term expectations of them exhausting the buyback right now. But yeah, all right. So I know I'm all over the place. So no filing there. All right, what else we got? Oh, yeah, so it was only a $1 upgrade. Isn't that... the analyst... going back to the analysts, yeah, they have such complex models, but I guess in their mind, it wasn't that much of a game changer of an earnings release, in that it changed everything for them, just a minor incremental update. Which really, if you're doing really robust weighted cost analysis of a company, updates will likely be incremental, right? Because you should be very incrementally updating things. You get a little bit more information. It's just marginal, and then you make the update. But I guess I was just thinking with the stock like GameStop, maybe some analysts are going to wake up and they're going to go, and then they're going to be like, oh, it's going to be 15. You know what I mean? Some might. I'm not tracking all these analysts. If some people are, but there's probably, isn't it like Bank of America or Credit Suisse? Isn't someone like at like $3 right now? Maybe they'll change their tune once that price breaks 10. They'll just change it. They're like, you know what? I was wrong. $15 price target, right? I don't know. But still, look at that, 2 in the same day. That ain't bad. It tends to happen around earnings releases, right? Because they got more information, they incorporate it in their models, so you usually expect it within the week or so. All right, what do we got? Hey, Jordan, what's up, Jordan? Solid day for GME, PS5 event on Wednesday. Oh, is that confirmed? Wednesday at 4 p.m.? Okay, sick. Price to be announced, and hopefully a few big games get announced. Awesome day for value. Oh, so Jordan saw that too. Good. So Jordan was saying awesome day for value stocks, so bear that in mind, right? I didn't totally dig into it yet, but if it's an awesome day for value stocks, this total upward move of 13% or whatever the hell it was can't totally be attributed to this news. Just something to bear in mind. All right, Steve Stunk. Welcome, Steve Stunk. Cheers. Hey, Roaring Kitty, you're smashing the DD on GME. Oh, thank you, Steve. We're doing it collectively. I wasn't sure when Barry went in, but it's now my second highest conviction play in the portfolio. Wow, okay. So high conviction play for Steve. Welcome, Steve. Welcome. Cheers, mate. Smash. Cheers, smash. Cheers. Ming, when the price goes higher, the short dollar of the short money and market value goes up as well. That's true. Yeah. With higher short market value and increasing in borrow rate, it makes it more painful. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. I don't bet too much on that short squeeze. That's what I'd say. It's so many people are hoping for it, and it's so obvious that can make it difficult for it to unfold. It could also cause it to be more explosive. So what the hell do I know? I'm like a true analyst, right? I think I'm like, on the other hand, you play both sides because that's the reality of the world that we live in. You want everyone to have super strong conviction. This is what's going to happen, but I can't do that. But I got to say, of all the publicly traded stocks out there, if you were to make a comparison, and I'm not... If you had to pick one stock to say, you know what, this could be a VW type Porsche squeeze, right? If it were going to happen, GME is the stock. But that doesn't mean it's likely to happen. It just stands out from all the rest. And if anyone who's tracked GameStop for a while knows, you can have a high short interest for a very long time, right? With nothing happening, okay? So it's just something, and Ming knows this because Ming's been tracking it this whole time, but just the high short interest and just the high rate. I agree, though. You think the one thing that's changed, though, is we're closer to the consoles and the chart has broken out. So that's the thing. That's why I'm like, all right, you got to be getting a little bit nervous. So, Steve Stunk, something like 5 million new short between Thursday and Friday, 10% of the public float. I don't know where you got your figure, Steve. They don't release the FINRA short interest like officially every couple of weeks. It appears as though short interest went up from what I could tell, but I don't know. That is now already underwater. I am wondering how far those shorts. Yeah, I don't know how much, if shorts went up. I'm not totally sure. It looks like it did. I tried to look at that short volume stuff too, but it's not a high conviction analysis. I'm not really sure. But if they did, I agree. Nevertheless, let's just say, Steve, hypothetically, and maybe this is your point. If short interest did go up following the earnings release, right? Everyone's like, pile on. Pile on right there, right? That was that day. Now it's up. They're underwater, not by much, but your point still stands, Steve. And this is the thing, is that if you're, I think hopefully we said this during the stream, you're right at support. Remember I titled the stream that too. You're right at support. You're right at $6 support. That's not a great time to short a company. So if shorts did go up, Steve, what the hell? They weren't doing, it's unlikely they were doing it from a technical analysis standpoint. But that was like a bad time to short. I thought it was a bad time to short. It was like right in there, and that... Oh, where was that? Can I pull that up? Don't I have... I keep on Command T and it brings me over here. Let me just see if I got that... I had that chart that was like right in the box. Yeah, here we go. Look, here it is. I'm trying to minimize my tabs. You know what I mean? Look at this. So it broke right out of this box. Look at this. It went in there and it came right back out. It's like what was that? What did we call that? Support, roughly? Oh, I forget when I made this. So I must have done it after. It looks too clean. It would have been hell of a prediction. I must have done it after. And then, but then it's bounced right out of it. Look out! People are not in. we're focused on technical analysis because what else are you going to go off of right now? But the thesis is fundamentals on the long side for the most part, and I suspect for the short side it is as well. So maybe they're not too concerned about this, but I've seen it happen to value investors in the past. You should at least be aware of this type of stuff. Long or short, be cognizant of it. So if you're short, I'd be a little bit nervous of this breaking out above that. I don't know. That's all I'll say. I'm no expert on technical analysis. All right. What else are people saying? Daily, the big moves in stocks always seem to come after the volume. GME volume has been averaging 8 to 10 million per day easily for the past 2 weeks, 3 to 4 times what it was all summer. Very good sign for the bulls. I'd agree with that. I agree with that daily. And so if we check this out right here, we got it open. Are we still at $6.99? What are we at? For shits and giggles, right? Still at $6.99. It sounds like a trade-in value for a game, right? With the price set at $6.99, huh? I'll give you $3.50. Okay, let's check historical data. Okay, yeah, look at this volume. Thanks for bringing that up, Daily, because I've been checking this out too, because we talked about watching the price, but always watch the volume right now too. First of all, volume, I think, tends to cluster around earnings release, right? That's going to happen. But also, just if someone were building a position, the volume would be going if they were buying back shares, which I don't think that they necessarily are. But like you do, I agree. The volume can support the upward move. So this is quite a bit, and there was a very, very little volume in July, right? So this is a good point, Daily. Something to keep an eye on. That's all. Just keeping an eye on it. That's it. And it's substantial. For some technical analysts, they would say that the volume substantiates the move, right? It supports the move upward. If it's just on minimal volume, people are skeptical of that move, myself included. Some people don't even look at volume. Some technical analysts don't even look at it. But you can see with GME today, this is what Daly's pointing out, and he's right. Look at this move. It's very clearly crushing it on the volume front, and that's bullish. That's bullish. And another thing, Daily, I could have included in that tweet. I could have included that this was on volume. Did I add it after the fact? Someone might have mentioned that to me. No, I guess I didn't add it. That was a good one to include, that it happened on volume. I just straight up forgot it. Okay, sick. Good point, Daily. The price action seems odd, still very choppy. Maybe not a big deal, but kind of seems like it's being held down still. I got two things to say to that. The first is, when the market's trying to die, like GME has historically been a super volatile stock, right? Super risky and so forth. Those always tend to be more volatile. But at inflection points, both on the upside and the downside, that's when they're like trying to adjust their models, and the stock gut's going boom, boom, and it's going all over the place. And you can see that happen during a big move up or down. It's like people like these firms trying to update their models, but for many people it's just their mental models, and they're trying to do stuff where they go, oh, wait a second, am I wrong? So you had the big down on Wednesday, and so you're gonna see a lot of volatility around this time anyway. But I kind of view it as a little bit bullish because of where the chart is. I interpret this volatility as like, all right, this is people like, it may be nothing. This is marginal analysis, but I've been keeping an eye on volatility too, Daily. It's not alarming for me because of what I just said, just for what that's worth. What's up, Hugo? Cheers, mate. That's because the changes of the price target are focusing on the new console cycle, but only focused on the EPS. Oh, Bank of America is only focused on the EPS. What if Bank of America? Thanks, Hugo. If they are only focused on the EPS earnings, that's just bad analysis, right? I don't know that that's the case. I mean, they're a big, huge firm, right? You don't think so, right? But then you see like some of the shit Murray says where they get, where their accounting metrics, they messed up because of the leases. And now I'm not so sure, Hugo. Maybe it is. Maybe they're just focusing on earnings and they got the wrong story. Anyone tracking earnings right now we talk about the importance of the story, the importance of the narrative. If you're following the wrong data or if you've pieced together the wrong story, it causes you to put on a trade that could be suboptimal. You know what I mean? So it's conceivable if someone has been following the wrong news, like the long-term chart, and people don't realize that the GME management has changed hands, or it's a new management team, or if they're looking at earnings and they see the losses, like no one cares about earnings. We care about free cash flows. That's the definition of when you're valuing a stock, is that those discounts are free cash flows, right? So I don't know. Maybe it is, Hugo. I don't know, but that's just bad analysis. Foxhead. Cheers, Foxhead. Welcome. The upgrades are designed to help these investment banks partake in any M&A deal. Don't take them or their price target too seriously. Spot on, Fox. So Fox, he's nailing it here, right? That these are investment banks, right? So you're always going to be cognizant of different incentives and stuff like that. And as Fox is mentioning here, that sometimes it's just to try to drive a potential M&A deal, maybe not even for GameStop or for other companies too. That's something to think about. But I think it's important not to take them too seriously, but to lean more too on your own estimated fair valuations, if you will, because track these over time. Believe me, if you haven't done it before, track these analyst upgrades, and you'll see they're not, they're, if anything, they're just trailing indicators. They're not very much leading indicators. But thank you, Fox. If I don't have a tremendous amount of experience with those types of things, so that's always helpful to share too. Cheyenne, thank you for everything, Roaring Kitty. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Thank you everybody here with the good GameStop questions, kicking us off. This is great. I'll take notes. I try to take notes to remind myself of some stuff to talk about, but sometimes I forget. So I can't even remember what beer I'm drinking sometimes, and so I'll take notes. But these questions remind me of certain stuff, like that volume. I don't even know if I brought that up. That was a good one. Yeah, I wonder how many other analysts are that they were tracking. And I know you can probably track it down on Yahoo Finance, but I don't care that much. Who cares? Like Fox said, who cares? Who cares? Just something that can drive the price up on one given day. So we'll see what happens here. And one more check. Nothing filed. Actually, we'll check later. People file like up till 8 p.m., but you can't go. All right, check that one more time. And after hours, one more time, just for shits and giggles. Nothing happening. $6.99. Okay, we'll see what happens tomorrow. And what are futures doing? I'm kind of curious about that. See, I don't put too much stock in futures, but I'll check it out. Green. All right, green. Tomorrow will be down 3%, so whatever. Oh, what was this that I saved? I don't remember this. Oh, yeah. Someone had mentioned this on the stream, too. That Xbox Series S isn't looking too good. It seems like people are, I actually didn't read this in full yet, full disclosure, but I had bookmarked it because I'm like, oh yeah, I want to check that out. But yeah, that S, it's not so, and we talked about that a little bit. People might be focusing more on the regular old console disc version of the console, right? So that's a little, all this is marginal, but it helps the GameStop thesis a little bit. Oh, and I just posted on Twitter too. What did I say? What was it? One more thing, because it came out to the NPD data. Where is it? Oh, right here. So if anyone didn't see it, gaming crushed it again in August, 37%. Oh, and someone did respond. Didn't they comment on my? What'd they say? I disagree with this. What'd they say? Zeno, I don't know if you're on the stream, but I disagree to a point. So Zeno was saying he doesn't look into this because the GameStop didn't see an increase for Q2 months, But something to bear in mind is that where would GameStop have been without this boost? You know what I mean? And so you got to be careful with that type of analysis because you got to consider the absence of that news, the absence of that event. And it's conceivable GameStop would have been performing much more poorly without that. So maybe if you were truly trying to play the NPD announcement, what the release is, Zeno is me. All right, welcome, Harsh. Welcome. Oh, now I know. I pieced it together on the stream. That's funny. So I disagree. Harsh and I, we've disagreed a couple times on the stream, right? It results in better analysis for both of us because we're trying to think outside the box. So that would be my take, is that consider where GameStop would be without that. That's it. Even though I can't precisely say how GameStop benefited, I don't know. But I just know, and I mentioned this in that video, the GameStop video, this isn't a zero-sum game where if all of gaming benefits, GameStop can benefit too, but perhaps not as much as some other players. And I think that's harsh. I know that's what you were trying to get at, is that GameStop hasn't been as much of a beneficiary as some of the others, but just something to bear in mind. Fox. I suspect most of the people buying today are hoping for a filing. Everyone's counting the days for a filing update. Could be a bit of pressure tomorrow if filing doesn't come out. You think so, Fox? And I'm curious. Now, people have been talking about that on Seeking Alpha, right? But I feel like they've overblown that a little bit. I don't know if you agree with that, Fox. But when I try to take a step out, I try to track what people are saying all over the place. And when I take a step back, I don't see many people talking about a filing. But indeed, if what is the real money? Is the real money doing that too? The people who have a substantial amount of capital, are they waiting for a release too? A lot of PMs on Seeking Alpha about this. Oh, private. Okay, there you go. So, yeah. So people on Seeking Alpha are talking about it, right? So people on Seeking Alpha, I see that too, but it could partially explain the move, right? It could partially explain it. People waiting for a filing. So in that case, if we don't get a filing, will it sell off? How long are people going to be keeping their eye on this? I know people were trying to estimate that 10-day period. He filed his last filing, I'm talking about Cohen. Cohen filed his last filing, I think, on August 31st. And people were like, oh, yeah, 10-day countdown, because he had about 10 days to file an update. And then earnings came out, and then we haven't had a filing yet. I'm still not so sure we get one right now. I feel like if we were making a move, that type of thing, I think it takes time. And I think people are thinking that there might be an imminent buyout opportunity too. But I don't think that's not my base case. It's something to be discussed, right? I always say that. You got to talk about these things. This is like the stream and Seeking Alpha. Those are the places to air these things. But then you try to digest all the information yourself, factor it in. And I don't think anything's imminent, but I'd be happy to be wrong. But I don't. They talked about if there were a buy, what price would it happen at? Right, that matters. So for some people's theses, that's all. But good point, Fox. Good point. So then, if you don't get the filing, what happens? What happens? So we'll see. Look again. We'll just watch the price. We'll see what happens. Right now, it's kind of a little bit. It kind of ended up though. That's good. Shorts covering. I don't know. It kissed. It was right at 7 there. You see that? Even I saw that. Oh, you can see the high right here. What was the high? $7, right on the dot. And now it's, by the way, 691 it closed at. The high before was 692, I believe. I remember that, 692, because that was the 52-week high for a while. So we're right there at that previous 52-week high. For what that's worth, who knows? Hey, Jordan, what was interesting about the MPD data, I didn't look it over yet, Jordan, so what do you have to say? I didn't look it over yet. Was that the hardware and accessories did better than in the summer. Oh, that's bullish since hardware has been strong for GME lately and they got new consoles in. Yeah, that's we talked about the supply issues for GameStop. They've been bad. Their Q2 was much more adversely impacted by what was going on than some of the other retailers, right? So if now they have more inventory that people want as of August, and that it's still strong data, that bodes well for GameStop. But that said, we still remember there's some headwinds in this quarter too to bear in mind. But I lean toward, if I had to say right now, which is a ridiculous prediction, I said this about this quarter too, so you can't trust me. But I bet, we got to see what the price action is, right? But I almost think now we know there's going to be headwinds for the quarter, and it could be a rough quarter. But we also know it's probably going to be the final bad quarter for GameStop. Even still, we've been having good year-over-year comps, relatively speaking. But like everything might be priced income the next quarter, and so we'll see what happens. Hey Trey, what's up, Trey? What do you think about the limited availability of PS5 in the launch? Oh yeah, so what's the latest news on that? There's concerns about limited availability across the board and what GameStop's allocation is going to be, right? And I know some people, that was a super bearish thesis that they had, because if GameStop, because of their credit rating and because they were struggling a little bit, that maybe they might not be allocated as many consoles. That doesn't appear to be the case. And certainly you would hope that this balance, what did they get, $700 million in cash? Jeez, you know what I mean? Let me pop that up. What is that, SEC? 10. 700 million cash. Like that ship has sailed, right? That's over. But 700 million, right? So they're looking super strong going into this release. What would you say? But the limited availability. So limited availability is going to hurt a lot of people who sell those consoles, right? It's a risk. It's a risk. This is the thing. I'm always gonna do this. This sounds like a cop out. But one of the perks of being a value investor, a deep value investor, is that these risks, while legitimate, are marginal. They're not concerned about me. So if you have a little bit less supply, maybe it takes a little bit longer for GameStop to generate those free cash flows. The true concern would be if they didn't get any allocation of the consoles, which is so slim that I can't even take that probability seriously anymore. But yeah, so just something to bear in mind. I forget where I was going with that. Oh, the console allocation, right? So right now, if they have a little bit fewer consoles or it's delayed a little bit, we also had something I didn't even factor into my videos, the Switch upgrade. There's going to be a new Switch that's going to drive some traffic too. I actually took a whole bunch of notes. What the hell was I thinking? I forgot. Oh, I got it over here somewhere. We'll go through, but someone will ask something that will help me trigger some of this conversation. But yeah, we'll see. It could cause stuff to drag on. That's my initial take. Steve Stunk, harsh. The spending report is important because the pie gets bigger. So do the pieces. GME needs to move in on it. That's right, Steve. That's maybe a more eloquent way of saying what I'm saying when I'm drinking this beer and just blabbering it on. You know what I mean? The pie gets bigger. The pie gets bigger. Not a zero-sum game. The pie's getting bigger. Hey, Fox. I think it'll be more the lack of games. Lots of devs pushing out title releases. GME's upside in past console cycles is in part due to the attach rate of the software. All right, so two things on that, Fox. First of all, and I mentioned this in my video, when you say lack of games, do you mean Q3 or Q4? There's going to be a shit ton of games that are being released alongside the consoles, way more than were released alongside the consoles in the last cycle. Based on my analysis, that's what I saw. I was seeing upwards of 40 or 50 games within the first year or so, or maybe not right at launch, but within that year, it looked like it was going to be way more games being released. Maybe Fox is tying it into the number of consoles, right? But if the number of consoles are limited, then fewer people would be buying the games. But even still, in general, GameStop, I think, could be a beneficiary because of those additional games and the attach rate, right? And GameStop management has repeatedly said this. They do better at launch times, both for consoles, but also the games themselves, because it drives traffic. People come in the store, they're looking for bundles. they're enjoying the excitement, and it increases the chances. Maybe people have been waiting to buy a new headset, waiting for the new consoles. You know what I mean? And so people start buying a whole bunch of stuff, and they're more likely to buy more games at that time. And also it appears as though in those early weeks and those early months, people lean more toward physical too. I wish I had some data to support that, but just from some soft analysis that I was doing, people tend to lean more physical in those early weeks and months. But the attach rate. So Fox, this is a very good point. That attach rate is super important. And what GameStop says, and I think I included this in the video too because it was in one of their GameStop presentations. They have one of the highest attach rates in the industry. And part of that, I think, is because of it, them being that's the only major brick and mortar retailer dedicated to it. But people come in their store and GameStop's got some nice bundles, and so that's important both for GameStop, of course, right, but also for the vendors because the vendors like to see that. The vendors of all the items that might be sold at GameStop. That's why I always thought it was like GameStop. We always talk about GameStop providing a value to customers, right? That option to trade stuff in, including consoles. By the way, this is why another reason GameStop could benefit is because they're the go-to place for trading and stuff. But even the suppliers like it too because now there's a go-to place, a go-to brick and mortar place, brick and mortar store that guests can go into and buy stuff. And if you're a vendor or supplier, you don't have to do it yourself. Even Microsoft stores, they had their own stores. Didn't they close them down? You know what I mean? So there's a benefit that GameStop brings to that offers other stakeholders as well. I talk about stakeholders. I don't really, every time I list all those stakeholders, I think I failed to mention the suppliers and vendors. They are a little bit of a stakeholder too, as indicated what I just said by how they would analyze a company's situation to just make sure that they're a reliable partner. Okay, Fox, selling a console does little for GameStop. Software is where the profit is at. So that's totally true, right? I feel like that's hopefully everyone knows consoles, not just for GameStop but all over, are very thin margin, if at all. I don't have the hard numbers, but even GameStop fully discloses very thin margin business. You just want the people to get the console. And just like razors, right? The famous Buffett example with the razors. Just give them the razor. Just give them the razor. The razor, and then we'll send them the blade, and then the blades is where they get you. So it's the same thing with the consoles. Just get them the console. Although the consoles are kind of expensive, not crazy expensive. Some people were thinking $600, but just give them the console, and then a lot of the margins, not just for GameStop, but for a lot of folks, are with those games, right? So that's what's more important for GameStop, and that's why Q3 looks a little bit of headwinds in Q3. But I give management props. So just like, here you go, toss it out there, do with this news whatever you want. I don't care. And then let's get Q3 behind us. I feel like that's going through their mind. I had reread that transcript. And you're just trying to pick up their tone and stuff like that. Ugh, really, really suspect analysis. Don't get me wrong, but I do it. You got to do it, don't you? All right, Trey. Oddly enough, I think Xbox isn't going to have the same problem. Yeah. So I'd be curious, Trey. I haven't. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what I know earlier this year there was more of a concern about these consoles, right? Like because we didn't know what the hell was going on, right? I mean, for GameStop, who knew what was going on? Talk about February, March, April. Nobody, even myself, we're not 100% certain even the consoles were going to come out. At least we're at that point where we're like, all right, these consoles are coming, right? Not much is going to stop that. It would be quite the turn of events if that didn't happen. Now at this point, that would have been a much bigger risk for GameStop if they had to wait another year. That was legitimate, real risk. This risk of maybe Sony's a little bit less. That's interesting, Trey. That maybe it's not a problem for Xbox. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not sure, but not huge risks as far as my thesis is concerned. Everyone has their own thesis. Everyone has their own investment style, right? That's how this works. What I'm always talking about that roaring kitty thesis, which might not be a suitable strategy for you, but y'all know that. All right, the Amico 2 next year to a lesser extent, but still, I've heard people talking about the Amico. That too, if there were a bull case for it, I view that as marginal too. But that was interesting. I didn't know too much about that. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right? Life of the individual investor. I don't even know if I'm half the stuff I say. I don't even know if these are the right terminology. EBITDA, I'm pretty sure that's right. EBITDA, I don't know. But people's names and consoles, I don't know. I should know Amico. Okay, Trey, yeah, 4K Switch coming down the line. Oh, is that for real? Is there a 4K Switch for real? There is a new Switch coming out. I don't know if it was 4K, but shit, that Switch is crushing it, isn't it? People love that Switch. Maybe it's the nature of our current environment too. Amico. Oh no, I did say it wrong. Thank you, Smash. I've made a few vids on it. Check it out. It has the potential. Thank you, Smash. You saved me a lot of future embarrassment. I'm gonna talk about this streams. Amico, Amico. And Smash is like, oh. But where was I going? Oh, the Switch. Oh, yeah, Switch. So that was really bullish news that I felt people didn't talk about enough. It came out right after I made that GameStop video. But them coming out with the new an upgraded console, an upgraded Switch, in the grand scheme of things, just an upgrade to an existing console isn't that big of news. But I do feel as though the Switch upgrade is because, number one, it's crushing it right now. Tons and tons and tons of demand. But also because, and I think I did say this in the video, it skews a little bit more physical. Even in Q2, 50% of those sales for Animal Crossing was physical. You know what I mean? And in the used games, I think a lot of people deal in used games when it comes to the Switch. And of course, the Switch itself, GameStop always has a lot of bundles. So I feel as though that's an important console for GameStop. And it's kind of got lost in the, not lost, we all know, everyone on the stream knows, but just as part of the narrative. I talk about the narrative and the story. I feel like that's an important part of the bull thesis. Not an important part. It's still kind of marginal, but it's just, we talk about the downside protection, right? GameStop has so much downside protection. That's just another element of the downside protection. I'm getting tired of talking about downside protection. I see a lot of like the Seeking Alpha stuff, and even on Twitter, people talking about it. I'm like, there's so much downside protection. I feel like it's being stuffed down our throats. There's nothing more to say. This is why I'm always fascinated when I see the bear arguments, because I'm like, it's one thing to just short because of the secular risk, and you're like, I don't care about any other detail. But when you look at the fundamentals of this and see this, what I consider a relatively strong balance sheet, and the free cash flows that are likely in the pipeline, I just think, how do you short that? And I know value isn't always a solid indication for timing or anything like that, both in the long and the short side. But even still, I consider it so dangerous. But they haven't lost yet, so what do I know? Okay. Hyperbole Kid. Hey, welcome back, Hyperbole Kid. Did you see the essay article that hypothesized how Cohen could leverage the squeeze shorts to acquire GME and take it private? That is a wild angle. That's a wild angle. I think. Did I mention that on the stream? I think that's highly unlikely. But I respect the discussion. I always we have all these bearish, so many bearish commentary, right? Give us some crazy upside potential, even if it's not likely. I think, and was it Justin who said that? And it's like, yeah, let's have some fun talking about this. I do remember the Ackman. Remember the Ackman and was it Allergen and Valiant? Did I get those right? I think it's those three where they did something not similar. Nothing happened yet with GameStop, but I think that's what's in the back of people's mind is that something could be happening behind the scenes. Could be, but I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that. Fox. Fox. First year, yes. Not first quarter of release, from what I'm hearing. What do you? Selling a console does little for GameStop. Not first year, yes. No, not first quarter. You're talking about the games. Gotcha, Fox. Sorry, I lose track, Fox. I talk so much, and then I got to go back. But I'm pretty sure what you're talking about is that first quarter is not going to be too many games, but first year. Okay, that's a good point. And something to bear in mind if you're doing free cash flow analysis, right? And trying to forecast how many free cash flows they're going to have. That fourth quarter beat is important. And so if it turned out there weren't that many games, something to bear in mind. If you're playing that don't they usually release early holiday sales in early January? Or holiday sales in early January, and then you get the release like in late March, early April. If you're playing that particular earnings release, something to bear in mind, as Fox is saying, those games may be spread out over 6 months, 12 months, or whatever it is. So for short-term players, that's definitely notable. Less so for me. This is another benefit of being, what do we say, value-oriented, long investor. I don't even know what the hell I am. But for the long-term investor, too, you kind of care a little bit less about this. It's valuable analysis, right? That's important, when the timing of those games and so forth. But if you're in it for 2 years or something, it will all work out in the end. That the cyclicality, the lumpiness of GameStop's performance, as long as those games are coming, one would think you'd be okay. Not all the time. But I also think, Fox, too, that... Fox, let's see if you agree with this. So... I don't think the market I don't think the market cares about free cash flows, right? I think the market will sniff this out beforehand, as it often does in all this downside protection we're talking about and estimated free cash flows and blah, blah, blah. I feel like the market will get ahead of itself and price this stuff in even before we have the data and before we have the financials and before they report. I'm not saying that's a definite outcome, but I'm saying the market tends to sniff it out and they'll be like, all right, this is probably going to happen, and gets ahead of it. Again, now we're just having fun talking about timing, which is real difficult analysis to do. Like, when would GameStop price rise? So what I think is, and this sounds silly, but just time passing. This is why it's good this sounds crazy, but this is why it's good a year has passed for this GameStop thesis, because, I'll tell you, I mean, if it took another year for GameStop to break 10 or 15, I kind of that means I probably I got something wrong, because that was never part of it would take this long for sentiment to change, but sentiment is so bearish, it's so heavy that it could take that long. But usually it takes 12 to 18 months for a thesis like mine to unfold. Not always, but like for stuff to happen, for it to, the actual turnaround to take place. But we'll see. So plus the short interest, which could accelerate things, but it could also keep things down. Someone said this during the stream. That short interest, like why it was staying exactly where it was. It was probably people shorting it at $7. They were maybe, I don't know. But I suspect that there's a confluence of factors that are just it's gonna get too heavy for the bears, and it's gonna like take off a bit. That's not saying short squeeze. I'm just gonna it's gonna be like they're gonna get tired of shorting, and maybe that's all. Just having a fun time there. Trey, I need a management to come out with a strong message coming after the console releases. Yep, I'm all about that strong messaging and so forth. I think they're just working. Hopefully, they're just working toward that. They're working toward that. Fox, I think most people are playing the Ryan Cohen angle at this point. I definitely agree with that up until earnings, no doubt about that. The stock is up from $4 off that. The stock is up $4 off that. I wouldn't mind if Ryan Cohen doesn't buy in. Happy to own it through the cycle. Fox, spot on. So I agree. I think a lot of people are buying for the Ryan Cohen angle, also the squeeze angle. I think those two are kind of intermingled. I think you'd agree with that. And then whatever that Ryan Cohen angle is, right? Some people are speculating complete buyout, or maybe he's just I don't know. You see all the the what do you call it, press junkets that he does. Maybe they're afraid that he starts talking about GameStop too, or I don't know. I don't know. The only very quick and sudden impact he could have in GameStop is a buyout, maybe buying more in reducing the number of the float size. But other than that, it's more just as you're just going to start doing the rounds. If you were just going to provide advice to the company, that's going to take years. It's going to take years, I think, for him to have an impact. Right now, it would all be so incremental. So if it is the Ryan Cohen angle, maybe it's people pricing in. Look, 2 years, like I say, it's going to take a while. But maybe the market's being like, let's get ahead of this. He could turn this into a 5-bagger, 10-bagger, and it's incrementally moving higher. But I agree with you, Fox. Anyone who's I would be okay with him not buying in. I'm not. So we talked about this on the stream on Friday. I'm not convinced a squeeze happened just because he offers to buy out if he were to offer to buy out the company. I'm not convinced the squeeze happened. And then you get nervous about what the buyout price would be. What if it's $8? What if it's $10? Then I wonder how many disappointed longs you would have. So I think that's my ideal case, Fox. I agree with you. Where I don't know if I want him to buy it outright, but just have a stake, maybe even talk about it, but provide solid advice over time and turn this thing into the next Chewy. I don't think it has to be private. Maybe you agree, Fox. I don't think it has to be private to accomplish that. I heard some people saying, it could be easier if it were private. That's possibly true. I get that angle. I'm not saying it's definitely better if it remains public. I'm just saying it's not a requirement for GameStop to succeed looking out 5 years or so. So, if you were buying GameStop for a 10-bagger, which by the way is on the table right now from the lows, it was below $3. So you hit $25, you're a 10-bagger for GameStop, which is kind of crazy to think about because that wasn't my original base case. But if that's your case now because Ryan Cohen's getting involved, or not even if Ryan Cohen got involved, but if they reinvent their business and you're viewing like a 5x, 10x, then you kind of don't want a buyout to happen either because it'd be snatched out from underneath you before it happens. So something to bear in mind. Harsh, the new app is coming out in September too, right? So we might get a press release around that in the next 2 weeks. That's a good point, Harsh. I bet you're right. I bet we do get a press release once they release that, right? And that could be viewed bullishly. It's not a huge event, right? But nevertheless, John just talking about all these things being released over time. And I do think it's really important. I talked about, do I have it? Where's that? I talked about that GameStop presentation where they're focusing on those two things like improve e-commerce and so forth and focusing on those types of things before the console refresh because it's hugely important they get that stuff right. Can't mess that stuff up. Here, let me bring it up. Here, I want to keep that up there. Let me do this. Boom, boom, boom. Do I have it open? Yeah, I got it. Circ. Boom. How many times did I show this on the stream? I feel bad because it's such a boring graphic, right? It's just a boring graphic, but I think it explains a lot of the action. Like this stuff. I'm sorry. I know, Harsh, you just mentioned that the app's coming out, but I'm just going to run with this because it's important. I think they're focusing on these two items right now, and the reason they're so hugely important is because they can't mess up the console refresh, right? They got to get it right. They got to be sure that they can generate solid free cash flow, build out that e-commerce business, frictionless environment, frictionless omni-channel experience for everybody. And so that's the focus right now. But maybe we'll start to get people's attention harsh. You know what I mean? Some positive press releases. I talk about the rose-colored glasses by virtue of just being closer to the console rollout, and maybe this stuff, like a press release like that. That's what I mean. Like all the news events ahead of us, aren't they going to be good? Isn't it going to be like good news? What bad news? What bad news are you going to get? Right now, the only bearish the bearish thesis. You have nothing imminent. You have nothing. I mean, the chart looks like shit if you're short. The downside, I feel, is super protected. So this is like the only way you can short this is like you're not going to get it. I don't think you're going to get a huge sell-off to the down, like an inverse short squeeze, right? There's a true capitulation. We already got capitulation. If you're betting on that now, you're a number of months short. So it's like, then it's like, really going to get an unexpected news event? Would someone, maybe if like, you're not even going to see if Burry sells his position until mid-October, or like a HESTA permit, like that stuff. That'd be a little bit bearish. I'd say that. That's one that just came off the top of my head. But other than that, it's like news of the app, news of online sales. Well, that would be at the earnings release. You know what I mean? Anyway, going off. Okay, Fox. Oh, that'll be interesting. The $20 call options will all be wiped out. Yeah, exactly. So something that's, be careful what you wish for on that. That people hoping for a buyout are expecting a short squeeze. But what if you get the buyout at a lower price and you don't get the short squeeze? That's a disappointing outcome, I think, for longs. Harsh. Plus, just a lot of coverage around Xbox and PS5, putting gaming in front of everyone's mind. This was part of my thesis. Maybe a lot of people's thesis, and this is why I keep on saying I'm still surprised we are where we are in September. I thought it's going to be front of mind for folks, and I mentioned I asked a couple people on the last stream, like, do you feel it's heating up? Like we have the Microsoft news, we got the prices, we got the dates. We don't have Sony yet. Maybe it's coming Wednesday. Maybe that will get people talking about that. But part of my thesis was the new consoles, as it is for a lot of people. Not that it's just that it was going to be a sentiment catalyst, right? Can you think of another fundamental catalyst for a company that could have that much of an impact on sentiment? You know what I mean? Like there's so few like brick and mortar retailers that have this type of or just retailers that have this type of an event. This is a huge event for a company like GameStop. I can't think of any other retailers, if anyone could think of one, where there's this major once every 7 years, like the 7 year, and then there's just a huge impact on year over year free cash flows, right? It's a very rare thing, and I thought it was going to be. It's just too big of an event for the stock price to continue to lag all the way through it. Maybe it does. Here we are, September, and I'm already wrong up till this point, because I didn't think we'd still be that we're below. What was this? What was that high? That we're below December's high right now. 1 cent below surprises me. And I just don't. I still don't think this, but I reserve the right to be wrong. I reserve the right to be wrong. That this chatter, like I feel like it's gonna be too much for folks. And then people are even gonna say like, I gotta play how do you play the game how do you gotta play? Everyone's kids talking about it too. If you have kids, or like, how do I play this? How do I make it a profit off this release? And there's no better pure play on this new console cycle than GameStop, just because of the year over year impact it can have. I think. Maybe there's some game publishers out there who could be huge beneficiaries of it. I don't know off the top of my head. Probably some accessories out there like Turtle Beach, right? They could be a huge year-over-year beneficiary as well. Anyway, but I think GameStop might be the biggest share profit-wise, like year-over-year increase in free cash flows and profits. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Not sure if it was just a recent change. Okay, not sure if it was a recent change, but it seems you can now pre-order product to pick up in store. Yeah, okay, that's a huge plus for me as a consumer. That's right. So yeah, that's those little things. GameStop's got to take care of those little things. Just those little things. Give me an app. Order online, pick up in store. 1 day delivery for let's say Power Up Rewards members. Just these little things so that they can have that frictionless omni-channel experience come November and December. So again, if you're a short-term trader, you didn't get enough this this quarterly release. But for the long-term investors, you're like, all right, they still seem to be doing the right thing. That's why I didn't agree with people's knee-jerk reaction coming out of the conference call, like ripping manager, kind of like ripping them apart, where they say, oh, they should have just said this, should have said that. And I agree, like all else equal, you want more information, you want a super bullish narrative and so forth. And we talked about this in the stream, right? That'd be helpful to have a front person to sell the story. But that aside, just as far as like the nuts and bolts of this turnaround, they still seem to be doing the right stuff. But yeah, anyway. Okay. That's huge. Daily O'Brien, how does a buyout work? Hypothetical convo here. Buyout announcement of $10 plus stock immediately trading starts trading at 10, right? Yeah, roughly. It tends to be the case. But the thing, people talking about the short squeeze, well, everyone's going to call back those shares. And then what if they can't get them because you have the short interest that's such a high percentage of the float? But in theory, that tends to be how it works. But yeah, how many times have you seen this with a company of short interest this high? Not often. So I think a lot of people are like coming from a position of ignorance, myself included. We're like, I don't exactly know. In theory, that's how it's supposed to work, but I don't know how much the short interest impacts it. Alex, Signet was a good trade for me in the spring. Yeah, SIG. Yep, I've been in SIG. Let me just pop that up real quick. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's been up. It actually did well. It was doing well last year too. So this is a real ugly chart too, right? This is the type of chart that catches my attention though, right? This happens, right? This huge sell-off. A lot of charts look like that, but then it's just like, is it over? It might even be in the Roaring Kitty portfolio right now. I'm not even on. It could be. I'm not even sure. I'd have to check. I think it is. Let's check it real quick. Can I check real quick? Super quick. Just check this. Yeah, believe it or not, there's other stocks in the Roaring Kitty portfolio. Let me just check this. Super quick. Hey, it is in there. Smaller position. I don't remember the cost basis. What is it? Position number 65. Oh, for those who don't know, there's a ton of positions in the portfolio. It's like 150 or something. Believe it or not, I usually run a more a smaller portfolio, more concentrated portfolio. It's just the nature of this year, so I got a ton, which turns out to be great timing for the stream. But all right, Trey, Best Buy probably gets a big bump from consoles, but they've diversified their products, right? So Best Buy will get a bump too. I agree, Trey. Terry's talking about other folks who are going to benefit from this console refresh, but that's right, they're diversified. That's the thing, and so. Even like a gaming publisher, it's just they may only have one game that's coming out, but they have a whole bunch of other releases. So that's the thing to consider. Where the pure plays, because they tend to be the biggest beneficiaries. But it's a good point. Best Buy. What's Best Buy doing? Let me check that. Everyone saw that they had. Oh, that's Bed Bath & Beyond. They had a. Oh, look at that chart. What? Oh, that was right. Oh, yeah. So Best Buy looked super good back here. There was a story with this is 10 years memory. I don't remember. Something with their CEO who was originally a salesperson and worked up the ranks. What happened? And then people had like totally there was another it was a brick and mortar story back in the day. And people like throwing in the towel on brick and mortar. This is in 2012. And I remember. And I was really bullish on it at that time. Boy, it's really continued to run up. I wasn't this bullish on it. Oh, see what I mean? Oh, man, talk about that brick and mortar bear thesis. Wow, I didn't realize how much it had gone up. I remember thinking, I don't know if the business model's changed, but I remember thinking it was like 40 to 50 bucks. This is twice as much. Is it cheap? Anyone know? I don't know. I'll check out later. But anyway, Best Buy had been beating previously, or in this quarter. People were trying to factor that into their forecast for GameStop's quarter. But still, I think that generally bodes well for GameStop. I know Trey's just talking about the consoles, but Daily Rhyme. Immediately, a lot of shorts are underwater. Wouldn't they want to get out? No one would be selling below $10, at least not for a long time, and buyout would, in theory, be bullish news. Yeah, that's what some people are saying, is that then people just hold their shares and you can't get out because there's not enough shares going around. But I don't know. Volatility of the shares picks up. Not volatility, excuse me. Velocity of the shares picks up and they're going back and forth. I'm not sure. But that's the theory, Daily, is that everyone would hold on to the shares once it gets to 10 and there's nothing left. And that's where you get that VW Porsche type squeeze where there's no shares left. The short interest is so high relative to the float. They legit can't get out, and I'm not enough of an expert. I get it. I mean, I understand it, right? I get it, but does it actually happen? I don't know. As a long, it seems too good to be true. Seems fantasy level. Trey, Turtle Beach and Astro, a subsidiary of Logitech. Oh, Logitech was a good stock too. Probably get a bump from new headsets being sold. Right, that's right. So those accessories, Trey's listing off some companies that have the accessories that they'll probably do well. Those would be the other pure plays, I think. Because like I was saying, and this is why I think GameStop benefits in this type of environment as well, this new environment, because I think people might be reloading at that time. It's like you're getting a new console, sick graphics, sick everything. You want sick headphones, sick headset, and then just everything. That I think, and then there's and then just the bundles that GameStop will offer. They may offer exclusive bundles too for the Power Up Rewards members, and I think it will drive a lot of traffic and consumer demand for their stuff. I just think, I'm trying. Okay, let me catch up. I just think if that's the case, $10 could be enough for a squeeze potential. It could be, Daily. It could be $8. Maybe just any buyout offer, right? Could trigger a squeeze. Maybe it's not about the price point. That's a fair point. But that's what I say. If you get the $8 price point for the buyout, just hypothetically, then some people will be. We were just there a couple of weeks ago. It's a little bit disappointing. Then you only win big if it's just a short squeeze. What if you don't get the short squeeze? Then you're betting on the short squeeze. You're betting on the buyout and that a short squeeze will happen. You start getting into unlikely territory where that I don't feel super comfortable betting on that type of a thing. But in theory, could be daily. I remember Whole Foods being bought out by Amazon. I think it went straight up to $40 upon announcement. Yeah, it tends to be the case that it gets right up to that point. And yeah, that's how it usually works. But I suspect Whole Foods didn't have anywhere close to this level of short interest. I remember Whole Foods being bought out. All right, Harsh Patel, I still don't like the management. They're making positive changes, just taking forever. The new app, pickups in the store, should have been released months ago. Yeah, I remember they got hit by this pandemic. That kind of impacted things. It's fair. I am not. I don't agree that if you don't like the management, you don't like the man. Maybe you want them to talk stuff up more. I can appreciate that, but I'll tell you when I wouldn't like the management if they did some dumbass acquisition, right? They did some dumbass acquisition, or they weren't cutting costs, or they were opening up more stores, like what I consider fundamentally dumb moves. Then that's easier to say like, oh, we need to replace them. Maybe they're not talking up so much stuff, but who knows? Maybe it's in shareholders' best interest and we don't realize it yet. But that's the stuff that I would start to say like, all right, we need to swap this management team out. But they're not. I don't think they're doing. Like I said it in my video too. They've been mostly doing the right things. There's definitely some stuff like what the hell was the Dutch auction last year? We're a year later. I'm like, what the hell? What was going on? So there's some stuff that I don't totally understand. And yeah, and Harsh. It would be nice if they talk up the importance of that narrative to stress that stuff, but it may just take time, and maybe it happens the next couple quarters, but I can appreciate that. I get where you're coming from. One of the reasons they are losing out gaining revenue, even though overall video game up 35%. Yeah, could be. How's your portfolio been as a value investor lately? Yeah, Roaring Kitty portfolio has been picking up. It's been picking up certainly from the lows. Value's been, I felt, has performed quite well since the lows of this year from March on. Relatively speaking, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's done well. It's in the past. It's kind of flatlined a little bit past couple months, but there's that huge run up a couple months. Like what was it March, April, May, June, July, like 4 months in. Now it's kind of stabilized a bit. Although now GameStop's picking up, and it's a big position, so that's picking things up. But today it seemed like it was a big value day. Let's just check that real quick. Can I check that super quick? I just want to see. Style. All right, Russell 2000. There you go. So I didn't even see that. Russell 2000 up 2.6% today, right? Much. What was the S&P up? 1.3, 1.2. NASDAQ. Wow, it beat NASDAQ, huh? Oh, that's a feather in your cap right there. You don't see that every day, outperforming the NASDAQ. But see, even without, so bear that in mind when you're looking at the one-day performance of a stock. Look at this. A lot of stuff was green today too. What else was? Oh, biotech was green today. Interesting. Biotech. They've been struggling a little bit, healthcare stuff. But what, any other value stocks? Gaming? Oh, I saw Scientific Games was up like 50% today. Sick! Now, I did see this one. Look at that. What did it end at? 26? That was a bigger position in the portfolio, too. So that's sick. Well, how big is it? Hold on. It's definitely up there, right? Sorry. So I always hate to scroll. Oh, is it not as big as I thought? Oh, what? I thought it was bigger. Number 23. After the run-up. Oh, that's too bad. I thought it used to be bigger. We definitely looked at it during the stream a couple weeks ago. Shit. What did I say? See, that streams are good. I should go look back on the stream. Eventually, hopefully, the stream reaches a point where who wants to tune into a 3-hour stream, right? Especially, like, if we're engaging. But if you're watching it after the fact, and then if you want to try to figure out all the different sections, all the different things we talked about, it'd be nice to cut out the sections so you can highlight it, blah, blah, blah. But even right now, I'm like, oh, what did I say about Scientific Games? Anyway, that was a good move up. And sorry, there's more people talking, but let me just scroll back. So we see what was happening today, right? It was, and we haven't checked in. Was gold up today too? What was gold? 19. Man, they've just been kind of churning, right? I see Brazil, Latin America were up. It's kind of some value area, emerging market type stuff. All right, so that explains a lot of the move. So that's the thing. So that we see the upgrades, we see the GameStop move, but remember, always have a little bit. You need context. You need context on stuff. Maybe without the big backdrop. What if today was a down day? That's the thing. GameStop held up well past 2 weeks, despite the market kind of struggling a little bit, not much, but that was good news. But GameStop had a little bit of a tailwind today. Maybe it only would have been up 5% without that. Best Buy seems overvalued now. So I should look that up, Trey, but I'm gonna assume 100. Like it was at $70, maybe I'd be less sure. But this was years ago. But value doesn't change that much, especially for a company in a mature industry like Best Buy. So I'm willing to bet that it's overvalued even without looking at the numbers. You start to internalize things over time. This is another benefit of being a value investor, is because you assign values to these things, and even without knowing the news, the latest updates, or who took a position, you have a rough idea as to what fair value is, especially if it doesn't change that much over time. And I know Best Buy has its secular risks and so forth, but it's like value's not going to jump 50% year over year. I don't mean price, I mean value. Like, you got a fair, and even it's not going to jump that much year over year. And it's probably not even going to jump that much over 5 years. So I'm pretty sure, I thought it was like in the 50 to 60, 40 to 60 range, 70 max, but 100, I bet you're right, Trey. We can pull it up. Oh, I don't have it. We can pull it up. I think Best Buy is helped by strong housing market. I agree. So in housing market's crushing it, right? We see, home builders have been a huge win for the Roaring Kitty portfolio. It's just crushed it. It's been sick. Look at this move. It was a way bigger move than I appreciated. It turned out to be a huge allocation for the Roaring Kitty portfolio, but I didn't expect this move up. I didn't expect this to get back so quickly. So then we've been discussing during the stream other ways to play this really bullish housing market, and then you get into some of the retailers that sell housing furniture, or even like a Wayfair, which was a play that I missed, trying to think through who would benefit in this COVID environment. And then but home furnishings, you know what I mean? And Best Buy, that's a good point. But people doing these upgrades to their house, technology too, right? I tend to think more toward like furniture type stuff, but you're right. I mean, they're buying technology, stuff for their home entertainment system. So that's a good point. They were benefiting from that too. Talk about context. Talk about context for stuff. There you go. Best Buy is another benefiting from that as well. It's already a double off the lows. What's this market cap, by the way? Jeez. 28 billion? What's GameStop? 500 million? That's the thing. We talk about, look at GameStop. GameStop's 450 million. It's got almost 800 million in cash when you include the sale leaseback of August. Of course, they may have also burned some cash during those couple weeks, but nevertheless, you know what I'm talking about. But that's a small market cap relative to some of the, wow, I didn't realize how much bigger Best Buy was. 27.8. Graphing calculators, everybody. Get those graphing calculators out, right? I can't do that math quick enough in my head. What? Wow. It's way bigger. What is it? What I got? 27.8 divided by 0.45. Is that right? 60 times? But what? Is that right? That's crazy. What? You ever just see? This happened with Apple. I like everyone knows Apple. Like, you're following Apple, you're like, yeah, stock's crushing it. And then one day, I pulled it up on Yahoo Finance. What is it right now? Oh, how did Tesla come up? Oh, is Tesla? I hate when Yahoo Finance does that. Anyway, I was looking at Apple. I was like, 2 trillion. It's like I fell asleep for a couple of months. You ever just see a number and you're like, what the hell? Anyway, I saw that with the Apple, but right now with Best Buy, I didn't realize Best Buy was so big. Oh, that's got to be overvalued, doesn't it? But that's bullish for GameStop. I didn't realize how valuable that was. Anyway, so we're talking about the market cap for stuff. GameStop's only 450 million. Like, it's still super small. And I think I said in one of my videos, like, that legacy business itself, I think we're still priced below my low estimated value of the GameStop's legacy business. And then you have the whole upside. Don't get me going. I get so confused about this stuff. I tell you. Trey, just confirming. Fox, Best Buy benefited from the collapse of Circuit City. Maybe a bit different for GameStop since it's the last gaming retail left. Exactly. So yeah, GameStop. They're the only. I mean, that's true. They're the last gaming. There were other gaming retailers, right? So they've consolidated a bit. Some have closed down. What was it? They got. Did they get Funko Land, right? EB Games. I kind of forget. I'm losing track of all of them, but you know of them. And then. They're the only remaining one. I included this in all my videos because I think it's been a huge part of my thesis. Is even Amazon's trying to get in brick and mortar stores, right? The whole brick and mortar is dead thesis is way overblown. That's not to say there's no legitimacy to it, but it's way overblown, as indicated by even Amazon trying to get a toehold in here with some of its businesses. And then I think GameStop. Wait a second. They have tons of stores. They're the only one dedicated to gaming. And I think this is way underappreciated. We talk about optionality on shit, right? GameStop has a ton of different options that it could reinvent itself. That's not saying it definitely does, but like what other retailer out there has this opportunity to do this in a thriving industry of gaming? It's like, it's crazy. Like even Best Buy, they're not dedicated on gaming. They could, I know Walmart's doing stuff too, where they're trying to get more heavily involved with esports and so forth, but there's an opportunity here for GameStop to be the go-to place. And I know some folks go, oh, that's not possible with GameStop, but like because of how people view GameStop, it's just physical disc and blah, blah, blah. But that's the opportunities. They could reinvent themselves. Start with some of the basics, the app, same-day delivery, some stuff that has worked for many retailers out there today, and then get those free cash flows and then go to work. Tap Ryan Cohen. Ryan Cohen, what are your ideas? Go to the Roaring Kitty live stream. All these folks got good ideas. They all got some good ideas. Tap these folks. And that's what I think through. I think opportunity. So that's, I'll continually harp on that in my videos, that asymmetric upside. It's one of the most compelling asymmetric upsides out there, and and not enough people talking about it, I think. And the Bears just I think the Bears, now I'm going off on tangents now, but they just focused on the wrong things, focused on some of the negative aspects of that legacy business, and not like they need to reframe things a little bit. Maybe I'm biased. I'm always worried I'm suffering from confirmation bias. I can't say that enough. I'm like, as an individual investor, that's why you like the support from other folks, especially reasonable analysts like some of you, and then hedge funds or whoever, be like Bari and so forth. It's good to have that company. It helps you sleep at night, because otherwise you think you're crazy. Even right now, I think I'm going crazy. What was that short interest? 119%. I know there's probably the stream's probably only attracting bulls, but I saw that bear argument on GameStop. I'm going off on tangent. I saw that bear argument on GameStop. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced of it. I think that the analysis is missing some important aspects of the thesis. Some of the things I'm talking about now. All right, Logitech is also a work from home play. Yep, Logitech. Yeah, and that's there's been a lot of work from home plays, most of which I missed, which was disappointing. Some of which I got, but most of which I missed. And I mean, you can always, it's always easy in hindsight. You're like, oh, of course this crushed it, but you all know, everyone knows this. This wasn't everyone was kind of dealing with this at that time, that uncertainty. And I so regret not live streaming during that time. It just wasn't time, and it would have been great during that time, because that's where the most research is done. We could have been talking about some of that shit. You know what I mean? Like, given the craziness of what's going on, who could benefit in this environment? I didn't do enough of that. I was more focused on value stock, like not value stock. And I even criticized myself. I wish I bought more growth stocks. It was almost an immediate self-criticism, like 2 weeks in. And I said that on some of my videos too. But like, but the pandemic plays, we could have thought through some of that stuff. Some of them were value stocks. Some of them were value stocks I had been tracking. And I just took, like Camping World. Camping World was the first 10 bag. I got a 10 bagger for Camping World. And I know, what's his name's in that, was it Abrams? Abrams was in that too, but that was an unexpected 10 bagger. I didn't expect that. I thought they might get in trouble because of all the leverage that they had. And then there you go. It was the first damn 10 bagger in the Roaring Kitty portfolio. I'm like, sick. It was a bigger position too, so that was awesome. Okay. I think Turtle Beach is probably undervalued, but I haven't looked deep into their balance sheet. I haven't either. Let me take a note of them. We talked about them too. What's that ticker, Turtle Beach? It's like, it's something funny. Here, right? Is it here? Yeah. Yeah, those fun tickers, huh? It's half the market cap of GameStop? Why am I taking crazy bills? Shit. Is it a high margin business? All right, let me make a note of that. Oh, what am I doing? There's a couple of companies I was hoping to check out. I don't know if we'll get to it. We're doing good. What time is it? 8:15. Shit. If they took it private, I'm losing track. If they took it private, theoretically, they probably have more freedom to make decisions. That's the only benefit. That's true, which is a legitimate benefit. I concede that point, is that they have complete control. They don't. Who cares about quarterly earnings? You don't get people shitting on management about how they handled the conference call and that stuff. And you can just focus, right? So I get that argument. But even Chewy, wasn't Chewy private most of that time until they got acquired? You know what? I think I forget. I'm pretty sure. And then they got spun out. It was a weird story that I had to catch up on. Robert Stewart. Hey, cheers, Robert. Welcome. What do you think about VSAT Baupost? Hey, VSAT's in there. Hey, I do. Oh yeah, no. So I think we researched VSAT during the stream. I was intrigued by it. Hey, good stock. That's an obscure stock pick. Nice job, Robert. Huh? It's in the portfolio. So they issued some equity to Klarman bought outright equity in the company this summer. How big is it? 0.5%. It's not small. It's top 50. I know that sounds ridiculous, but let me just quickly check that. Also, I think the chart looks interesting. I like that chart. But then you have the backing of Klarman. Like, that was enough for. I think I bought that. We did the research in like 15 minutes, and I'm like, oh, that's enough to get it into the damn position, get it into the portfolio. I wouldn't say I'm not super dialed into it, but that's the thing, man. This is my style of analysis that may not be a good fit for you, but that's enough for me. I do analysis in 15 minutes, 30 minutes, boom. That's good enough for my portfolio to get a toehold on it. And then as the chart unfolds, or a new event is released, or a new news story is released, or maybe it pops one day and we dig a little bit deeper. That's why my style is tracking. I'm always tracking shit. I don't necessarily do all the research all at one time. Sometimes I do if there's like crazy opportunities. But like a VSAT, I'm slowly inching in. But I added to the portfolio once I saw that. I think it was 175 million. I think off the top of my head, I forget. But I think he bought 175 million in it, and he's been in a while. And also, he owns a good chunk of the company. Watch this. There's two things that stuck out to me. He owned a good chunk of the company. Yeah, he owns 24% of it. But also, if you look at his portfolio, so 24%, he's controlling the company, right? Which is bullish for me. If I respect the person, I like to see that, because that's, maybe it limits the upside because we talk about this in the same. It limits the upside because other folks don't want to get involved. I think there's something to that. If anyone has more insight into that, but I think people kind of pump the brakes and they don't get as involved because they see someone like kind of controlling it behind the scenes. But what I noticed was it's a super small market cap for Klarman, and it's his fourth largest position. And what's the market cap? It's like under 4. Yeah, 2.5. That's small for Klarman. Check out the other market caps. He's a huge, what was it, 30 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion? His whole fund. And it was a small position, so I like that. That's not comprehensive research, right? But got my attention. But yeah, and what is it? It's internet communication equipment. I'm not as experienced with this type of stuff, but it's also a little bit bullish for me too, because I think, hey, some green shoots there. Shit I don't fully understand. But so I should dig in deeper, especially if I want to go heavy. But that's the thing too. So right away, it's a little bit of not a turnoff for me. I got a position, but it's not as compelling on the upside because it's already at a 2.5 billion. I deal in those, but I like some of the smaller companies, like up to $1 billion. But again, it's a position. Anyway, good stock recommendation. Did you get that from the stream? Klarman stealing Roaring Kitty portfolio stock picks. You know what I mean? Hey, Klarman, you're watching the stream, obviously, huh? Cheers, Klarman. Okay, let me catch back up. Oh, Robert. By the way, Robert Stewart. Off topic? Hey, there's no topic here. I mean, I titled it GameStop, right? Just because we're all talking GameStop, but what we'll get into, I do want to see what moved today. We'll check out the daily move and stuff. But we talk about anything on here. It's not all about GameStop this stream. Just a reminder to folks who might not know. Believe those other streams too is like one or two people in there. We actually do the research, but there's a lot to say about GameStop right now, so that's why the focus is there. But I always appreciate any general investment commentary. It doesn't always happen, but a lot of companies slow growth after going public. Sure, GameStop is at least a 1.3 billion market cap, most likely. I felt the legacy business was could be worth that. The legacy business itself, you know what I mean? And that's a triple from here. Like I feel pretty confident in my downside prediction. I gotta say. But it's more the upside. So you say maybe it's a $1.3 billion company, but it could be another $3, $4, $5 billion company. In which case, remember, there's fewer shares outstanding. Just a reminder for folks, just quickly. See what I mean? There's so many different things to say about what happened. I could talk about GameStop so long because I'm so dialed in. I'm not as dialed in as the other stocks. So, but I could talk all damn night. But if you back out, like this price point, 56, when there was like twice the number of shares outstanding, just something for people to bear in mind. I bet it's going to be overlooked by a lot of people who are new to GameStop. But there's way fewer shares. So anyway, so you get to 1.3 billion more easily, right? What is it? 1,300 divided by 65, $20. $20 per share, 1.3. Okay, so Trey thinks it's $20. And what about the upside? Crazy. I think people partially forget that GameStop also had EB Games and they perform well in countries with bad internet like Australia. Yeah, crushing it in Australia. I don't think they released Australia figures in this press release, but they did in the last one. Australia's crushing it out there. Yeah, I think they're in Europe too, and yeah, it's a big business. It's a big business, but a small business. It's a big business, small market cap. But I think people forget how it had like $6 billion. I have it up. Oh, we have updated figures, by the way. Sick. Yes, see this? I got to do this at least once a stream. I got to do this. You know I got to. Oh, sick. That's August 1st, 2020. So we have the update. There you go. Tangible book, $5. Look at this. I can't believe this shit. For the folks who have been tuned in for the stream, GameStop is classified as safe by some dumbass, just easy, simple algorithm that I have. Not algorithm. It's just a basic arithmetic equation, like trying to estimate whether or not GameStop's a risky stock, or it has a risky or a stronger balance sheet. But I rarely have a safe, anything classified as safe in for the stocks I deal in. And look at this, even with the leases, it's marked as safe. Oh, I just noticing that right now. That's sick. But look at 5.6 billion in revenues. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big company. 1 billion in revenues when they had to in the middle of the pandemic there in March when they had to close their stores and shit. 1 billion. I think it's a little bit bigger, and that scale is gonna. I think that scale could really come in handy for their growth opportunities. They're already in these stores. They're ready to run. And that's what I think there's a tremendous amount of operating leverage. What is price to sales, by the way? Oh, I get sales to price. I never know what this is. What else? I said this in some of my videos. I do everything price to sales on the metrics and stuff. But I know you're supposed to do it. This is the way you're supposed to do it, especially for sorting and everything. But I'm blocking shit. But I got all my metrics right there. But sales to price. What do we got? Sales to price 13. So what if you do one by? Oh, I'm so 7-8% of revenues. There's a lot of upside there. And then if you can get back to growing revenues, what if you have year-over-year growth in the revenues and stuff? Tremendous amount of operating leverage here, I think. But the broad store footprint, it could help if things start turning up. I'm telling you. Okay, brick and mortar is dead. Trey said brick and mortar is dead. It's the same thing someone says before complaining about 2-day shipping. yeah, right. I know, right? Oh, hey, speaking of this, some people say that. I feel like I still get some 2-day shipping on Amazon Prime, but like I feel like I don't get it all the time. I'm sure it's the nature of the environment we're in right now, but I swear that I'm not getting 2-day shipping as frequently as I used to get, but it's probably just the current scenario. I bought this thing and have to wait 2 days. Right? Yeah. What was he saying? Sorry. As opposed to going directly and picking up a product. Didn't they say? And I saw someone commented on this. Didn't management say on their call like it's conceivable you can. You could even place the order on your app and go pick it up and be back by the time you finish downloading the game. I mean, and of course, the 2-day shipping, too. So that's something to bear in mind. 118% last I saw. I came here. Jason Crom. I came here for the confirmation bias. Jason Crom says, I came here for the confirmation bias. That's funny. Cheers. That's what we're here for, right? Oh, shit. That's funny. Seeking Alpha is reporting 100. Steve Stunk says, Seeking Alpha. I wouldn't trust, in this particular thing, I wouldn't trust Seeking Alpha's numbers. I'd trust Wall Street Journal, Market Watch, Yahoo Finance. It seems as though they have the more accurate figures. So sometimes Seeking Alpha is a bit dated. Trey Daniel, there was some figure that I saw that said games are sold 80% digital. Not sure how that figure was calculated. Yeah, you saw it on Statista. Did you see it on Statista? It's because they're factoring in. I think a lot of people are sharing that data stat, that stat, and I think it's a misconception because I think a lot of that includes like in-game purchases and stuff. It's also not directly tied to GameStop's business model per se. Like I said, that Animal Crossing was 50% physical, reported by Nintendo. So that 80% I think has I mentioned this in that first GameStop video I did. I think it's helped feed the negative narrative. People, if you Google GameStop or not even that, physical versus digital, you'll see the Statista thing. It's one of the top Google results. I think that confuses a lot of people. Here, I'll see if I can find that stat. Oh, Natuzzi. I have Hugo. Natuzzi. NTZ. I've looked at that one in the past. What's it done? Is it still? It's not bankrupt. It avoided bank. Yeah, I think I've owned it. I've owned it. I got out. Yeah. Okay. Good. This makes me. I always talk about missed opportunities. I have a whole section dedicated to missed opportunities in my notes. Check out these missed ops. Where the hell is it? Oh, right there. There's a whole bunch of them. Oh, you can't even really see it. Can I zoom in? Yeah, there we go. I'm always adding to this list. There's way more. I added this way later. Usually I just say it during the stream. But Natuzzi is not one of them. But I haven't looked at it in a while. They did look like their share counts look really messed up because it did look super, super undervalued. But then it started to get sketchy. I forget the story. But it started to look too sketchy for me. And as it turned out, it looked like it was. It hasn't really done much. But Harsh Patel, I kind of keep everyone's expectations with GameStop at bay. I'm a bull, but the company isn't doing well in console cycle is a gamble too. If they need to get to pre-COVID inventory. You don't think GameStop's doing that? Well, I don't know. Yeah, they're not doing great, but let's see how they're doing. Let's see, Harsh, if you change your mind 12 months from now, 6 months from now, when you start seeing the year-over-year comps. I think other people might be saying they are doing great, but we'll see. They're not doing great. I guess I'd agree with that, right? I'm not a blind bull here. Harsh, they would have zero cash now. If what? Oh, I missed that, Harsh. Sorry. Calculated YOLO. Have you guys checked this? Anatomy of a Short Squeeze written by Stewie 12 years ago. GME in the same context right now. Oh, you got a link? Anatomy of a Short Squeeze written by Stewie 12 years ago. Oh, I'll check that out. GME in the same context right now, just way higher short interest. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I think I mentioned this today. There's no other stock that's, even though I hesitate to say the whole VW Porsche angle with any stock, there's no other stock that's closer to this right now. So, but yeah, that infinity squeeze too, like you need a really pervasive bearish thesis that everyone takes as automatically true. And then if you can suddenly unwind that, then that's when you get the short squeeze. It's just to Harsh's point, the story is unfolding kind of slowly. So do you really expect such hugely positive news to be dropped on people unexpectedly and it to result in a squeeze? I'm not so sure, but the pieces are here. It could happen. It could happen, even if it's not necessarily likely. Not sure if you like links, but there it is from Statista. Hey, I got that. Oh, I'm catching up. Yeah, so I did know it was from Statista. I mentioned that in my first GameStop video because I think everyone starts sharing that stat because it's just think about that. Think about the power of Google, by the way. This is why I know Google is a very valuable business because of this, but think of the power of Google because of that. I actually thought about this when I was Googling like physical versus digital and blah, 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 doing my research. And I'm like, is everyone coming on this link from Statista? And it doesn't appear as though it reflects reality as accurately as I think. But then it just helps feed the narrative. Because if people don't dig deeper, they just go, oh, this is it. It's a bar graph. It must be true. And then it made me think, and then I'm reflecting. I'm like, oh, Google, huh? Wow, that's... You really have a lot of power if you control those search results. You know what I mean? You can where those eyeballs are directed and stuff like that. It got me going down that rabbit hole. You know what I mean? You got to quickly pull yourself out of that. You don't want to go too far down those rabbit holes, but I had to pause for a moment being like, oh, shit. I know a lot of people talk about that, right? But every once in a while, something will happen. You're like, oh, this is valuable. Hey, I'll look into that article though. Shorts. Oh, can I do it right here? Can I just? I'll have to track it down later. I just highlighted what you said and searched it in the live stream window, but I'll check it later. Okay, so Statista. Oh, I gotta catch up. Trey Daniel says VSAT good tech. I love it. There you go. All right, so other people are VSAT too. Hugo, if you're sure that Xbox will increase GameStop, what do you think about Microsoft? Xbox is a marginal product for Microsoft. Don't worry about that. There's no gaming play there, in my opinion, for Microsoft, not for me. Microsoft will benefit more from Game Pass than console sales, most likely yet, Hugo. Yeah. Although the Xbox Series S will probably sell as a cheap console in the environment. Trey, you a gamer? All right, I'm trying to blow through. Scavengers have you seen it? That will be released. Scavengers, that game combines. Yep. I wonder if the game sales that they add in physical versus digital includes mobile as well as DSC content as a game. I think so, Trey. I think that's part of. I forget off the top of my head, but I remember when I was doing the analysis, I'm like, I think this includes DLC content and the mobile and in-game stuff. It just kind of, not that it was completely inaccurate. It was just telling the wrong story as it pertains to GameStop. Hugo, I'll look at it most like, oh, I'm catching up. Come on. Crossfire. Hugo, Scavengers, the new game. All right, talking gaming. This is sick. If GME realized it, if they need to get... This is good stuff because I'm not a total expert on gaming. So, and I know Trey seems to be much more so than I am. So he's always sharing his knowledge on gaming. Looks like Hugo is too. If they need to get them... I'll check this out later too. If they need to get pre-COVID inventory, they would have zero. Oh, if they need... Yeah, but sure, Harsh, but they'll get the gaming inventory in the coming months. That's what I mean. Like I talk about, they have almost $800 million in cash, but that cash isn't completely unencumbered, right? They need it for inventory. They need it to run their current business. They might even burn a little bit of cash in Q3. So sure, but they have debt too. So I get what you're saying. You're saying, but you also need to consider, Harsh, the free cash flows that are going to generate here on out. This isn't their balance sheet right now. Isn't it? It's not the end. This isn't the end of the story. This is, can they get through one more quarter? And quite obviously they can, and they will. And then thereafter, after Q4, then Q1 next year, Q2, then what are your free cash flow estimates? Because then in theory, you say zero cash after they pay off all their liabilities and all that shit. Then it's just pure free cash flow. Then it's just pure free cash flow that in theory wouldn't happen. You could pay out as a dividend. Shit, they could, you know what I mean? Then you can use that free cash. They needed to reinvent themselves, right? So But yeah, but there's downside protection there. Oh, okay. Hugo said, I really think the board of directors of GameStop needs someone that plays games for realizing they got Reggie on the board. You got to think Reggie knows his shit, right? But I don't think they're totally oblivious. And remember, just even the board and the executives aside, there are other folks who work at GameStop who would know this stuff. Other people who might not be, their name might not be plastered on the investor relations website, but they're still hugely important to the business model itself. I get it, though. You still always like the face of the company to be maybe someone who people really love. But that's why I thought Reggie was a good addition, because I think people may have agreed with you. Who said that? Hugo. Trey, I mean, I just looked at the trail. It looks neat to talk about the games. This is sick. All right, I wish I could be on the board of directors for GME. I would try to get them to see the benefit of keeping gamers in the store, like esports arenas, and yeah. That's what I mean. We got good ideas here, but I think they know some of this stuff too. We shouldn't sell them. I don't think they're totally as oblivious as people think they are, but it's just what else do you have to go off of besides the conference calls and in the? That's what most people go off of. Okay, here we go. I could see them partnering with big brands and maybe have coordinate events to see esport pros and such. There's tons of Trey's been offering up tons of options the past couple streams. So there's tons of things they could do. Okay, Fox said, real bear case is game streaming. All the devs are incentivized to disintermediate GME. Today's Xbox announcement. Actually, there was someone. Who was it? What was it? There was an article today that talked about how. Oh, what was it that I saw? It had to do with GameStop, where someone was going, not everything is going to this subscription model, where that everything will be, there'll be a subscription model for game streaming and so forth. That's the real bear case. That's the real long-term bear case, right, Fox? And that's why there's a legitimate thesis for the shorts over the long term. No one, I don't deny that. I don't think anyone does. I just disagree with the confidence level of 120% short interest as a percentage of the float. It's the confidence level I take issue, but you're right. There is a legitimate bear case. That's a real bear case in the streaming. The question is, how long will it take streaming to really take over matters? That's right. So it's not just the digital downloading to your console, but also the streaming of games. I believe that we're quite a ways away from that, but I'm not an expert on that. So I think management too was saying that they'll likely physical will be in huge demand for this cycle at least, but thereafter you got to figure 5 years out streaming will start picking up. I know they had Stadia too. Fox mentioned xCloud. And then Trey said xCloud isn't a huge factor for me. It's a neat feature, but you need Game Pass to even use it. Game streaming just isn't ever going to be viable for a competitor shooter games. Interesting. Then Fox said, have moved to game streaming for my PC games already. No need to upgrade my equipment. I play COD on it. Works pretty well. Yeah, that's that. Thank you for sharing, Fox. That's we talk about the digital downloads, but just the general stream. But what happened was Stadia. There was a big talk up of Stadia last year. I remember this as going into Q4 last year, and it just kind of faded. And then it had the reviews of it weren't all that strong, whatever. They kind of needed to hit that right. But nevertheless, you iterate over time, right? Just because it didn't hit it out of the ballpark immediately doesn't mean it's not in the pipeline, right? So, definitely something to consider. That's interesting, Fox, as you're already using it for your PC games. And it works well. We'll see how long it takes for other people to pick up on it. But this is why, while it's a Fox, your legitimate bear case it's a bear thesis against the legacy business, right? This is why GameStop needs to reinvent itself. If there's a long-term future for this business model, it needs to be more experiential focused, whatever the hell that is. You know what I mean? But a real bear thesis. How huge are we expecting Christmas consumer spending this year, since money will be redirected toward retail, consumer discretionary versus other sectors that see upticks around Christmas? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, with people not traveling and stuff, maybe they'll be spending more. They already kind of are, right? Consumer discretionary has been kind of killing it. In fact, let's take a peek at that chart. Where's consumer discretionary? Excuse me. The chart, I remember thinking this chart looks really good for consumer discretionary. Do I have, these are, let's start with the sectors, I suppose. Yeah, look at that chart, huh? It's already, then it broke out to new all-time highs. That happened right as we were starting the stream. I remember that. Look at it. It keeps on cranking. Whew, way better than look at that, huh? Really bullish, too, at least on the daily. How about on the weekly? Wow, bullish. Looks bullish. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it could continue to be bullish looking out a couple quarters, and that's marginally bullish for GameStop. People will shop there. Okay, Fox. Oh, then Trey asked, Fox, don't you see the input lag? See, I don't know about this. I've had slight input delay the limited time I tried it. Smash, I got to run. Great stream, bro. Cheers, Smash. Well, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Hugo, GameStop app. I would like them to do a Switch computer, which I own by Amazon. Oh, a Twitch competitor. Yes. Oh, they remember, and Burry criticized them for this. There was an opportunity where they may have been able to buy Twitch a couple of years back. That was the acquisition to make. They dropped the ball there. But yeah, could they be a Twitch competitor? Excuse me. Could they develop an aspect of their business that could be a Twitch competitor? In theory, I actually looked at Twitch. I looked at Twitch for the stream. I was gonna do. Should I do YouTube or should I do Twitch? I think I would have felt. I mean, no. That's the thing. Twitch is for gamers. Right? It's primarily for gamers. And but I thought, maybe. I know that's super popular. But anyway, I was looking at Twitch and I was thinking about that because of GameStop. Hugo Trey, as someone who needs the input responsiveness, game streaming just doesn't cut it. Right now, I think that's a lot of people. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to be smooth, especially the serious gamers. I think they still lean physical. Tech doesn't stand still. It's like niche streaming 10 years ago. Game streaming will improve. GME will need to take advantage of this last console cycle to transform itself. Twitch is bad for discovery and better for game streams. Okay. Yes, it's good for game streams. So that's the thing. So Netflix. All right. So I got a couple of things I was going to talk about here where talk about the Netflix model, right? They used to mail the discs, and then they transitioned to now they develop their own content, and that people always compare GameStop to Blockbuster, but it could be Netflix is a little bit maybe a different type of comparison, right? I mean, there's GameFly, people already ship games and stuff. I'm not saying that, but you can. What was your estimated value for Netflix 10, 15 years ago? And then they were able to pivot and transform their business model. And then you think of, what was I going to say? Was it Redbox? Redbox. Physical discs. How long have DVDs been dead? DVDs have been dead for how long? There's a legitimate, they were just acquired. What was it for? It was $1 billion, I think, a couple of years back. And they're still relevant. And so I think that might be a better comparison for like a GameStop type thing. Well, no, it's not a comparison. We're talking about in-store experiences. Obviously, there's no store, no experience with Redbox. But even still, some of these things take time. And it take time for streaming to take over. For games, I think. We'll see, though. Twitch is bad for discovery. Trey, I don't think I'll ever stream games unless my inputs are 1-to-1. I just can't ever see that happen. That was been my thing, too. You need it to be zippy. I agree, Trey. I play Musical Felony says, I agree, Trey. I play competitive fighting games and fly out to tournaments. I agree. 100% of people don't know just how bad one extra frame of lag can be. That has been my take, too. I mean, if you're bullish on that, I guess we can agree to do. That's just my experience, though. Okay, good discussion. I appreciate the discussion there. Because I'm not an expert on that stuff, and that's it's a knock against my own analysis. This is why, even in one of my videos, you see me pulling up some of the YouTube videos of other folks talking about it because I care about what other people are saying about it too. My take is that I just think some of this stuff is going to take time. That's my quick take. All right, let me close out of some of this stuff. I'll keep that up just in case. Is that the daily? That daily looks good. Okay. Oh, what's the monthly doing? Coming out. It's coming out of the dumps. Oh, that looks good. Oh, it's September. We got to wait till we close out the month. Oh, that looks good. Huh. Okay. That looks bullish. Okay. Oh, what do we end up after hours? 698? Come on. 7? 7? Ah! Ah! Ah, shit. Okay, not with current management. I just don't see them doing anything more innovative. They're still fixated to physical stores. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, they can reinvent themselves. All right, let's check out what happened. Let's check out what happened today. I mean, people can still comment. I'm gonna look back and forth just just want to see what happened today, just because more of that just context for everything. What I noticed, New Gold was up today, and that's a big. But gold's not doing shit yet, is it? Oh, this is looking like a little bit bullish. This is building up bullish. Look at that, and it only came back to the 50 RSI. Oh, what do we got? The game hubs could work as an esports. Even Ninja stream live from one of their arenas. Oh, what was that for? Okay, Trace, I'll go out. The game hubs could work as well as an esports experience. Look at esports arena. Even Ninja stream live from one of their arenas. Yeah. And then Fox said, yeah, George and Jim aren't Reed, Hastings caliber. I think they're good at operational stuff, e.g. working capital movement. So I agree, Fox, but that's where Ryan Cohen, right? Although Ryan Cohen doesn't have the gaming experience, but you got Ryan Cohen and Reggie. Ooh. That's why. So I agree with Fox. Like they're doing that nuts, and I think I said that during the stream. The nuts and bolts, like stuff you got to do. You got to take care of this shit. You got to be good to go. You got to be ready to go. Where's that damn press? Where's that damn? You got to take care of these. This is what they're. This is what George and Jim. They're going boom. You got to do this. Got to do that. But where do you get to this? And I think it's kind of. I think it's kind of missing so far. At least the story itself is. We need more. That's why I was happy Reggie got on there, and then the other people on the board too who got added. One from Chewy. I forget all their names, but they have more this broad omni-channel type experience. But you get a Reggie and then in-store experience with Ryan Cohen. They could build up like a sexy narrative that helps feed it. They could max $100 a month with digital. All right, good discussion. What's gold? Okay, so this is looking good. And how about silver? Haven't checked up on that in a while. Okay, so that's looking interesting because I saw new gold was moving. Platinum. Palladium's a good, let's see what's going on here. Okay. It's got to get, so oil was looking kind of bearish. I got to say that. Let me just check. All right, kind of flatlining a little bit. Okay, let's check out the portfolio. So we see some stuff was green today. We saw Russell 2000. Oh, what's Russell 2000 doing, by the way? All right, just kind of plugging along. Not doing much. Just one update today, but let's see if it turns things around. Still looks on the bullish side of things, but look at S&P for value. Okay, so value's turning around. Okay, so the gold miners are up 4%. Yeah, those gold miners, huh? Tech was up. This is a risk column right here. Like this column right here. It's just like random ass things that I just say. I kind of help me kind of see into if people are in like a risk on mode. It's kind of random ass shit. I don't know. Things I take. Wow, a lot of it. Look at this. A risk column and most stuff on it. What was Tesla doing? Tesla 420. Drink. Remember when he said he was gonna like? Did he say no? It wasn't funding secured at 420, was it? Oh, look at that, it's 420. Was that on purpose? Did y'all do that on purpose? I had a little bit of a sell-off, right? And because it didn't quite get. Oh, is it roaring back? Or is it roaring kitty back? Oh shit! What do you do with this? You can't touch it. Wow, I did think that might have been. Wow, this thing's a mess. Harsh with digital innovation. Have they have big news events like tournaments? Tesla part of the Roaring Kitty? No, Tesla's not part of the Roaring Kitty portfolio. But I've said a couple of times on some of the streams, I've been bullish. So Bitcoin is small. But part of my criticism of my approach in the past is not dealing enough in stocks that are really trendy and have strong momentum and so forth, because I'm a value investor, right? Value investor. We would never touch this shit. We short this shit. But as my approach has matured a bit, I kind of appreciate the trendiness of it, and I feel as though there's been a number of opportunities, including in March, to go long Tesla based on that. It would never be a large position of the Roaring Kitty portfolio or anything like that, because of the value. It's so difficult to value. It's almost impossible. It's impossible for someone to me to value. I can't value Tesla. I don't have the expertise to, but I can read a chart, right? I can read a chart. In the chart, I talk about my use of charts. It's often a manifestation of sentiment and how people are handling it. And it is a classic case of technical analysis, this thing. It's nuts. It's a Momo stock. That's right. And it's a momentum. It's a Momo stock. But there's legitimate, I believe, there's legitimate, it's not. There's investment opportunities in Momo stocks. This is why I think I can do Bitcoin too. I think and I noticed that, so Bill Miller's a value. We were just talking about this on the stream a couple times ago. It was exciting to see that he was kind of bullish on Bitcoin too. I don't know. I think maybe for different reasons than I am. But I can see value in this stuff that traditional value investors, for better or worse, maybe I'll look back 5 years down the line and think that was ridiculous to think that maybe Tesla goes to zero or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, that was stupid. But in the meantime, there's been a number of times where if you buy on the dip where it heads down to former resistance and you picked it up, there's like 5 times it looked like a solid buy. It looked like a technical buy, and it's worked out. And I think that tends to be the case with these types of things that are that are just really difficult to value. And so right now, I thought this breakout on Bitcoin, I mean, I think we did the chart, but like this looks a little bit bullish to me, right? I mean, do whatever the hell I can do whatever I want here, right? Who cares? It's a little bit bullish to me. That's all. That's all I do is looking at the weekly. And I don't even know the whole story. I know the whole story is a lot of true bulls out there. I'm not like that. But it's the same thing with Tesla. Where if you're gonna, the only thing to do, I feel, is if you're gonna trade it, is you go long. You go long at opportunistic times. Shorting it. When the hell are you gonna short it? You couldn't have even. Remember last year when it sold off? You couldn't even short it here. It never sold off enough. And then it went up. Maybe you could have shorted right there. It was so hugely overbought, right? And then you could have sold it because it was overbought, but then everything started selling off. It kind of messed with things. So maybe there's like a short-term day trade. But for my approach, this was a buy pull. I didn't buy. I messed up. I didn't mess up. My approach has even evolved over 6 months. I had some areas where I felt I could have improved, like in May. I'm like, oh damn, which maybe that's the case with a lot of people. But I don't feel bad about that. This is why a part of this stream, educational, right? This is opportunities for us to learn. Everything's a test. This was a great opportunity to buy Tesla. And then maybe as it broke out to an all-time high, that was super bullish. And right now, I would say the first time where I thought maybe you could have short when it didn't get in, I said this on the stream too, and now I wonder if this is going to be funny if it's wrong. Because the thing with shorting, right? It's so important to get that timing right. And it's not enough, like for traditional value investors, like you want to buy on the real low and you want to sell at the real high. But when it comes to shorting based on technical analysis, you want to sell when it's already clear, like the trend is screwed. It's not enough. Like it wasn't enough a couple days ago when it didn't get into the S&P 500. It was down big that day. That's not enough, except, I forget which day it was. But I thought that news was kind of big, that S&P 500, and that's like kind of big to not get into the S&P 500 because I know that was a big part of a lot of people's long. I thought maybe you could start a short position based on that because that's like it could cause sentiment to change just a bit. But really, the time to be shorting it now is maybe you start adding more when it breaks below this. You know what I mean? You really want it to get crushed. You need to be sure with something like this. You need to be sure sentiment is changing before you start dealing with something like that. That's my take anyway. I'm kind of trying to build out my approach. Oh shit, people talk about Tesla. Oh shit, we could change this to a Tesla stream. You know what I mean? I guess a lot of people. Trey, Tesla isn't necessarily selling cars. I feel yes. So Trey, so this is why I talked about Tesla the other day too. So. Tesla's a good example for GameStop. I apologize for people who've already heard this. I'll just say it again just because we're talking Tesla. But you talk about the importance of the narrative and the story. No one has any idea what to value Tesla. But there's one thing there's one thing everyone can agree on Elon Musk. He knows how to sell the shit out of his business. No one even, people talking about everyone's short and betting against it. They don't have any profits. And then look what he's done. He might single-handedly will his company to succeed. That's not a forecast. I'm not dialed into it. I don't care. But the amount of money they just raised, $5 billion right before that stock sold off, like he may will it to happen. And I was making this comparison to GameStop. Shit, GameStop could use not so much an Elon Musk, but someone like a front person like Ryan Cohen to tell that story. Here's what we're gonna do, and here's how we're gonna go about it. Blah blah blah. And then not that GameStop would try to raise money or anything like that, but Tesla did it, and they may raise so much money over time that they caused themselves to succeed because of this narrative that they preached. Again, it doesn't matter what happens, but I think everyone can agree that he has successfully. That is real money in that Tesla bank account. You can't deny that. Deny the fundamental value and all that shit, but they successfully raised that capital. And so to Trey's point, he's like, they're not selling cars. He's selling a story, and so far. He has done a good job of it, which is it's just crazy what it's done. This is post-split too. Oh, it's just crazy. Why even focus on foot traffic at all with the gaming hub? Oh, okay. Arsh is going back. When they lack digital exposure to begin with, they spend as much thinking about digital as they do with the gaming hub. Yeah, they gotta pivot into that front. They would be good. Come with good ideas. I think they're assuring the downside, Harsh. They're just making sure that downside is protected. I would be disappointed if 12 months from now we don't have more of a story on what that GameStop upside could look like. How do you compete in online sales directly with Amazon, taking them head-to-head? Same way Chewy did. More about that experience, that in-store experience. Like people want to shop there. They want to be a member and so forth. They want to like going there. So that's one way to do it. Okay, Fox. Momo stuff is great to trade until it collapses. Then it's a question of how lucky you are in fobbing off the stuff to the next fool down the line. I mean, that's true, right? That's why these are real speculative trades. It could never be a large position for me. My strategy isn't necessarily for you, but it could never be a large position for me because I could never get that GameStop is as big of a position it is in the Roaring Kitty portfolio too. Is only because I have a firm grasp of the fundamentals, right? And I feel as though I have a firm grasp of the value. I have no clue with Tesla. And if you're ever just trading based on momentum or on the technicals, it could that's number one how you manage. There's a number of ways to manage risk. You can just not take a position. You can just manage the size accordingly. You toss a stop loss in there, or just you could a stop on the upside too. Lock in your gains once it pops 50%. So there's trading opportunities. So I guess you view this more in the trading. In the trading light, but this feeds into just general sizing. This is why, although I use technical analysis, I feel it's a shortcoming. I feel like I've said that so many times on the stream now. It's a shortcoming of technical analysis. You can never build super high confidence based on the chart alone. You just can't. You need the fundamentals for super high conviction. Yeah, just like how Chewy did. Yeah, so Harsh. Yeah, just like how Chewy did with pet food. That's right. It's not hard to compete with Amazon if you focus on a niche. That's right. You focus on the niche. That's what I think Ryan Cohen sees with gaming. Not only is it just a niche, but it's a niche that, it's crushing it, right? Gaming is crushing it. There are plenty of companies. That's just so few companies out there like that. If there's any other companies like a GameStop where they're just in this niche where it's crushing it, I'd be curious because I don't see many like it. Wayfair with furniture. Wayfair is a little bit. I don't know. I'm not too dialed in on Wayfair though, but I saw what it did. What should I buy for my pets? So an app that helps me might be better. Yep. If I'm buying a video game, I just want to know what to buy. Dollar Shave Club for razors, mattress companies. Yeah, there's a lot out there. All right, yeah, that if you can just crush that experience. I think it's how do you customize selling a video game to contrast to Amazon. Fox, try typing in Call of Duty into Amazon. First few recommendations weren't for the game. I did it and it was for Lego. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Having that gaming focus is good. Fox is talking about how his trying to shop for games on Amazon just is a little bit of a drag. But if I assume that's where GameStop can outperform on that front. And maybe I have weird preferences and Amazon's trying to read my mind. Yeah, that's right. So, but again, they can do it like what Chewy did. So, it's opportunity. Shit, so I can't. Oh, did I mess something up? I deleted something. Okay, let's check. Okay, so kind of risk on day, huh? It's just one day. What are you gonna? Well, I tell you, once Husband's portfolio turns, all right, then things are starting to look bullish for. Oh, has it turned? No, it hasn't. Has it? A little bit. It needed more time. Look at that chart. This is Husband. Oh, I'm not not knocking you, Husband, but I've definitely been keeping an eye on this. I feel like once he starts to look right. Oh! Did it break out? That's it? Oh, damn. He's got a lot of gold miners, I'm pretty sure. That's helping. Oh, jeez. It's been so long. So long. What else you got? All right. So definitely an up day. Oh, and what's Sibanye Stillwater doing? I keep my eye on this one. This is a bigger position in the portfolio. Hang it in there, but definitely still bullish. Okay, sick. All right, what the positions do today? This is what I'm more curious. So I'll check out what's going broadly, but I want to see what's happening for the individual. So look at this. So my quick take. Let's look. Green. Whoa, I saw some big bright green ones. Sick. I saw a little bit. Look at this. Okay, so you know what I mean. So who even cares? The Russell. It's a quick take the pulse real quickly. But I see now GameStop's move up isn't as let's look at some figures, but that's not that big. It's not that big of a move, considering how green of a day this was. All right, so let's see some shit. So new gold breaking out, circ. Oh, it's not breaking out. A little bit. Oh, it's been a good week. Oh my, is it gonna break too? Yo, this might be. This could be a solid 5-bagger. Sick. That's obviously my top. If you don't know, that's my top gold mining play. And RFP. Oh, RFP. Okay, it's finally time to add. RFP screwed me because it started moving more quickly than I could add to it. And it never really broke out. It never really pulled back after this. Damn. I mean, silver lining, right? It's the second largest position in the portfolio, but I've had high conviction in it, and I haven't. The Roaring Kitty portfolio hasn't gained as much as it should have, considering it's a friggin' 5-bagger now. Damn. Okay, who do we got? Let me just catch up. Okay, Black Ops. First thing that came up for me was Call of Duty Black Ops. Oh, yeah, maybe Fox said possibly you're a Lego fan. Fox, you a Lego fan? Hey, Lego's sick. I wish there was a public company. Talk about a niche, huh? They got a strong business model. They do have some cool merchandise, though. Haha, yes. I'd rather buy Lego, the company. Oh, Fox just said that, too. Fox, I agree with you on that. No, that's a good business model, ain't it? I said my daughter, because we were looking at, I got a 2-year-old daughter who's reaching terrible 2s right now, but she's adorable. But we play with some Legos, and I think, oh, this is it. And then you step on it too. You're like, son of a. But I think they're like the best. Legos are the best. They're the best ones. There's other stuff out there too, especially for young kids. As you get older, Legos are even better. But I thought, damn, what a great business model. You call them Legos. Even remember the Duplo. You still call them all Legos. And yeah, anyway, I think isn't it like a private, oh, this is up, is it like a private like Swedish company or something? I forget. But yeah, good business. Props Fox. Yeah, pity. Hasbro is a good alternative though. Virtual Crickets. Hey, Roaring Kitty, I've been watching your stream archives for a week now. Found you from a Reddit comment you made. Oh, yeah. Just wanted to pop in and say thanks and that I really enjoy your content. Cheers, Virtual Crickets. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Props to you for watching some of those old ones, too. I didn't think people would. 3-hour streams, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? But I appreciate that, Virtual, because we're doing real research. That's my process. And as some folks might know, for an educational standpoint, it's the process that matters. It's not so much the stock picks. We're focusing so much on GameStop, but it's the process. And so a lot of those videos, including the streams itself, even though lately we've been focused on GameStop, I hope you can see my process or what I'm trying to do, how I approach things, how I think about things, even if it's not a good fit for you. But I always felt like it's helped. I always wish that I could see how other people thought through stuff myself. So thank you for sharing that, Virtual. I really appreciate it. Props to you, too. I'm going to have a drink on you for watching some both streams, too. It would be fun to look back. This is why 3-hour streams so long. I'm not gonna go back and watch them and go try to track down what I said about a stock. This is why these notes are important, which of course I've taken no damn notes today. But these notes are important for me because, what was in for you too. I strongly recommend taking notes, especially in the early years, so you know what was going through your mind when you. Now I kind of internalize stuff. I kind of understand, not intuitively, but it's in me. You know what I mean? But the notes are still helpful. Be like, what was it that caught my attention? I try to tag stuff too. You can't see it here, but I tag stuff when I make changes to a stock so I can remember. But anyway, now it'd be nice to cut out some sections of those damn streams and say, here was the research we did for VSAT or something else. Hopefully in time, I'll clean up the Roaring Kitty channel. So you can this is more available to you for like, I don't even know. Some people like the longer video. This is why the feedback's always good. Some people, so Virtual Cricket's over here watching these old streams, and that's great because that's like long form that's like long form. I don't know, long form analysis, kind of. It's like process focused, and I've always thought that's why I do the streams. I thought that it could be more helpful, but I know the same thing at the same time. Like a video like the short GameStop one. People want the quick. What's the quick thesis? That's why I always share that one. They just want the quick take. Who wants to watch 60 minutes or 3 hours to try to the Roaring Kitty stream going all rambling nonstop. But anyway, I always appreciate this feedback. Any recommendations, insights, stuff I can do better. Hopefully, as I can, if I spend more time on this down the line, try to have more of a flow to this, more of a process. Right now, I'm kind of we're just rolling with it. You know what I mean? Grab a beer. Let's just see how this goes. Throw it at the wall. See if it sticks. Okay, Trey. Yeah, if only they properly manage their subsidiaries like WOTC. Magic the Gathering, best part. Or Magic the Gathering, best part of the IP is that it lasts forever. Oh, yeah, those types of games for sure. Yep. My son's dealing with the terrible twos as well. Cheers. Let me pour one out for Trey. Oh, those terrible twos. You hear the rumors. You gotta see it though. You gotta see it. They're also their cutest at that time, right? To balance it out, like talking and real cute and stuff. It's kind of funny. I didn't realize Trey, your kid was, your son was too. Trey, my Little Pony and Paw Patrol will save the day. Haha, my son loves Paw Patrol. I feel like the cartoons like that are much more mindless compared to the kind we used to watch. Oh, I remember those cartoons. That's what I thought as I watched Floor of Lava. IP is the only reason Nintendo and Disney still kick ass. Do you have a favorite trading strategy? Hugo asked, do you have a favorite trading strategy? I'm using 52-week strategy. That's why I'm bullish on GME. Oh, interesting, Hugo. Thanks for sharing that. So I said that in my tweet, right? But I haven't heard of anyone who's actually trading on 52-week, who's actually making a move on 52-week high. So there we go. I mentioned that it's going to hit people's radars that a company just broke out to a 52-week high. Then they'll look at the chart and they'll be like, oh, shit, something's happening here. Oh, sick, Hugo. So you're actually looking at that, huh? Is there a max for short interest historics? No, there's no max for short interest. It can, in theory, it can be. I mean, in theory, it can be infinite, but the brokers need to be sure they can actually get out of it. So as Fox, scroll up in the chat. Fox had a lot of good insights on that front about and how it can sustain very high for a very long period. But there's no max as long as they can get out of it and so forth. But by the way, I forgot to ask, are you getting a PS5 or Xbox? Oh, I'm planning on it. Yeah. I'm planning on it. Definitely, I promise you, the digital version. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a whole bunch of no. Via GameStop. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm gonna get it from the app. I'll tell you what. I'll download that app, place it right in there. Shit, that'll be funny. Oh, that's great. Okay, what else is I doing? Okay, yeah. So that's it. So I don't have a favorite trading strategy, Hugo, but 52-week, huh? So I could do that more. I definitely have done that in the year. I think a lot of value investors do that, where they'll pour over the 52-week lows to see some buying ops, right? But now as I've not focused more on technical analysis, but I look at it more. I also think 52-week high list is kind of interesting. So that's interesting that you're doing it. And a favorite trading strategy, I'd say support and resistance, which is so subjective, right? But I'd say just like support and resistance, and I kind of look at some trend lines and all that stuff. And I look at RSI. I don't really have a trading. I like to buy pullbacks. That's one thing I know. I don't do so well on the buying on the breakouts. Like emotionally, I need to buy in the breakouts, and I'll just I need to buy in the pullbacks. I just accept that I'm going to miss out on some of the breakouts because I have, and when it works against me, I feel like such an idiot. That's the value investor in me. So no real favorite. Just looking at breakouts, breaking through support, breaking through resistance, falling back to support, trimming and adding. I use it to like add and trim, and then like a Bitcoin. And then I just showed the Bitcoin one. Like if something real speculative that kind of trades in line with technical analysis, I'll take a position on that front. But still work. Everything's an experiment. Everything's a test. Trey, Roaring Kitty, you should live stream your experience going to buy a physical console from GameStop. Would be a fun video. Sick. Stand in those GameStop line and interview the gamers about their view on GameStop. Whoa. That's not a bad idea, right? Let's make a note. That's a good one. Live stream experience going to buy the disc version. Definitely getting the disc console. Disc console at GME. Ask gamers about their view on GameStop. That's a riot. Maybe. Let's see how the stock price unfolds. That could influence it. Fox, value investor. Mentally, you crave the discount of that pullback. Oh, Fox, call me out. Hey, can I get credit for being self-aware? Oh, well, I'm not self-aware. I had to learn it. Now, as Fox already knows, I had to learn it about myself. But you crave the discount of that pullback. I crave the discount of that pullback, but I also I feel like such an idiot when I buy in that breakout too. So that's it too. But that's funny. Yeah. See, Fox probably knows. Fox knows. He's sees right through. That's a good idea, huh? Live stream. Yeah. So I don't have something. I need to have a camera handy with me to go do that and interview people. Let's hope the GameStop stock price by that time is much higher, because that would make it a lot more fun for people on the stream, myself included. Oh, yeah, that would be funny. Remember that person who was in line for that iPhone, like way back in the day, one of those early iPhones, and they sold their spot in line for like $1,000 or something, and his friend was in line too. I wonder how long the line will be this time around, huh? And then I think GameStop's going to be the only retailer. They're probably going to be open on Thanksgiving, right? So I know some people were complaining about that. That'll be interesting. I wonder how are all the retailers going to be closed? So I wonder if there'll be lines related to that, because sometimes there's long lines for Thanksgiving too. And then there'll be lines with the consoles and stuff. So we'll have to see. Good thought. We made a note, and we don't want that to be a missed opportunity. So this should be zoomed in. At least you didn't buy Apple near all-time highs after the split. Yeah, so that's the thing. Apple did look, for what it's worth, I mean, who cares now? A lot of people said this, I suppose, but Apple looked cheap back in the day. Apple legit looked cheap. Right here. They look cheap. I know a lot of people know this. It looked cheap, and I know Buffett was a little bit buying in after, but he crushed it on that front. Yeah, at least I didn't buy then. Hopefully a lot of you didn't either. I think off the top of my head, it is expensive. I should dig back. Great business model, right? Terrific business model. But at least I didn't buy there. But yeah, so that's what I mean. But I've bought on the breakouts, and I'm always like, any of you feel like that? You ever make the value investors, long-term value investors, you buy and you hold and blah, blah, blah. Everything just happens in the interim. But you ever put on a trade and you're just like, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Then you do it and you feel like such an idiot. You feel like I'm a value investor, but probably folks who aren't value investors feel that same way. Kind of like you broke your rules. And that's why the failures are good, because that's where you really learn the most. Not so much from your wins. Although from your wins, that provides you with the capital to fail more. I guess that's the way to view it. The wins give you the capital to fail, which in turn help educate, self-education or so forth. So, Steve Stonk, Voodoo gap fills. Oh, okay, Steve Stonk. Technical analysis, voodoo. Yeah, that's how I call it too. Like, so I'll just be drawing lines on shit. I'll be like, hey, yeah, let's have some fun with this. Huh? Like high conviction analysis, huh? Voodoo. Hey, and I'm making fun of this, right? But I used to say this stuff, and I used to think technical analysis was like kind of silly and stuff, right? I'm a value investor. That's I feel like everyone goes through that. But even right now, I even have fun for the stream, drawing boxes and stuff. It's so kind of subjective. But so gap fills, nice one. So yeah, speaking of gap fills, what's the gap fill on? Gap fills like pulling back after a breakout and stuff. So interesting. GameStop hasn't filled this gap. I haven't really done the gap fill analysis. That's interesting. Thanks for tossing that out, Steve. Never really filled. Well, I mean, did it kind of fill the gap? Did it pulling back to former resistance? Maybe it did. Maybe that counts as a gap fill. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's a little bit subjective. I don't know. It filled this. It didn't fill this gap though. Like the real gap would be down to like mid 550s, right? This is why I view this as bullish. Hey, does anyone view this as bearish? Look at that. And then it pulled right back to 50 on the RSI. Sorry to bring it all back to GameStop, but I like these comments. Thank you for sharing, Stephen Hugo. The 52-week high and the gap fills. Those are good ones. So now I'm like thinking, are people noticing these gaps and stuff? I think they're gonna notice. Nice one formed in January 2019 that remains unfilled. Oh shit, he's going way back. Sorry, Steve, I didn't finish your damn comment. What do you say? He says there was a gap fill. First of all, I always try to. So if it just heads up, stock charts. If you want to get rid of like right now, the price is adjusted for dividends. If you want to unadjust for dividends, toss in the underscore. And the reason to do this is it's so the books say. So it's not a roaring kitty thing, but they say kind of like dividends like have an adjusted price. You could still use it for dividends, but they say like you want the pure price, what people were seeing at that time. So you want to remove those dividends. Okay, so he saw a gap fill. Steve saw a gap fill January 2019. Right, that was when in the gap fill, was that this one? No, he said January. Oh, this one. Oh, that was when they announced that they weren't going to do they weren't going to get bought out. And people, it got bid up on the announcement. There was a rumor that first week of January, I think. Then it got shot down. And then it was then it was boom, boom, boom. So he's saying, I don't know. That's the thing. It was just so temporary. It was only 5 weeks. I don't know how much of a gap that was. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, you're talking about this one. So that's the thing. It was kind of like temporary. And even when I've been doing the chart, by the way, I kind of like look right through this. This is going to seem silly. Talk about subjectivity. Come on. So like I go right through. This is going to... You can do whatever you want. See what I mean? Try to stop me. Try to stop me. Watch this. I'm going to go right through this line. And that's why I always have laugh with this, because I have, just for what it's worth, Steve, I've kind of went right through that line because it was just a temporary, it was based on a rumor. And that's the thing. Look at this. I wish I could do it here. I could do it there. So the value investor like people they want to see the fine breakouts, but truly many times I think maybe I did this during the stream. I kind of just want the trend. And we're not like the trend is just boom down this way, and we're kind of breaking through. That's why this recent move was big. That's why I keep on tweeting about it, because people all the bears are based on the fundamentals, for better or worse. That's not the point, but I just mean wait till the technical analysts see this. You got Hugo noting the 52-week. You got Steve focusing on gap fills, and then look, they don't care about the fundamentals. You think some of them probably, it's so pervasive, they know about it, and it probably weighs in their decision, but technical analysts, they just pile on. And then boom, boom, boom. And then the shorts can panic. Not saying that's definitely going to happen. Not that it's my base case, but that's why I'm always, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills sometime. And I think this more because of my technical analysis, trying to build out that skill set. Like I wouldn't have thought it was super bearish, that shorts would be super nervous right now, except for this. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What the hell? I think you can pretend like I know what I'm talking about technical analysis. That's the thing. It's muddy waters. Okay. Check the charts. January 28, 2019, $15 brings us to 1 billion market cap. Is that true? Yep. Props, Steve. Just making sure you get the right share count. That's all I'm doing. So totally within reach to fill. I agree with you, Steve. I agree. Like if we weren't at, not that I'm trying to get into price targets or anything like that, but if we weren't at 15, if we didn't hit 15 in January 2021, I got something wrong. Like 1 billion is completely within reach in my mind. So yeah, I think it's but interesting. So you see it on the technical analyst standpoint. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, but now let's back out. So I just want to see what Steve's seeing. He sees this gap filled, all right, between 12 to 15. He sees this one. Okay, interesting. So for what it's worth, I'm at that 10 to 12 range. I think I mentioned this in a tweet. I'm seeing here. I just do the ranges, right? I just kind of doing the ranges. I see this box. It broke out of the box right there, and that's why I had a really fat support line between like 550. I don't even remember what I did. 550 and 6, whatever the hell it was. What is it? Can I just do that? These are all my these are chart lists. I don't even remember what I have saved here. What are those shippers? 1 day gainers? Those are all. What the hell did I say? Yeah, so look at this. Look at this fat what is this, support? So this is my range up here, but didn't I have another one? I don't even remember what these are. I just kind of whipped them together and then tossed a tweet out there. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, it was in one of the thumbnails. This was what I'm seeing. Like, I think this is the next level technical analysis there. So, and then Steve sees this too. He's saying he's kind of seeing 12 to 15, which I think is the next range. If the current range is this like 5 to 7 range, I agree the next one would be that 11 to 15 one. For what that's worth. Now we're a beer in. Come on. We're done doing the hard analysis. Now it's after 9. At 9? You're tuning in at 9 for like some deep dive analysis? Good riddance. I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. Trade. My biggest regret was not getting into the market when I was 18. I thought Facebook was a steal, a $35 IPO. It turned out to be it was a steal. I remember that discussion. No, it pulled back. Facebook pulled back afterward. That's when it looked kind of attractive because that mobile business. Remember that mobile business crushing it? This pullback. It went at IPO'd, 35. Good memory. I don't remember that. And then it pulled back under 20. And I actually remember this. Henry Blodgett, Fox, there's the name. How do you remember that? Henry Blodgett came out and he said that it was a buy when it dipped below 20. I kind of remember that because I remember looking at the pro forma results in the 10K and thinking like, shit, if there's a growth story, which is always when a stock's trading down, everyone kind of questions the growth. But if it were to sustain, then it could end up crushing it. So that pullback, I remember. Look, I didn't buy. Just for the record, I got lots of missed opportunities. I did buy Netflix way back in the day because I didn't know what I was doing. It's just because I had the account. But interesting. So so that's one of Trey's biggest regrets. Facebook's. That's a bummer. That's okay. You got a story out of it. For the story, do it for the story. Diffs. Learned a lot since then. That's good, Trey. That's how you should. Like it's all about the education, right? As long as you're learning about that's the thing. You really like. Even your losses, it's educational. I've had a ton of losses, so many losses, and I always think, all right, I learned something out of this. It's always important to make sure you don't set yourself up for. So even if you have a loss, it's a loss, but it's also educational, and you're not done and all that stuff, right? But I really value the educational standpoint. So props to you, Trey. Ming, there's still so many opportunities in today's market. It's never too late. Fox, with technical analysis, so there's some opportunities, a little bit less opportunities being these days than like in March and April, but there's still, obviously I still see some, right? You see the Roaring Kitty portfolio. Fox, with technical analysis, the secret is to stare at the chart until the stock moves to where you want it to be. If you try hard enough, it works, I swear. So Fox dropping some gems, it's that third hour. Fox dropping gems on us. The real secret to technical analysis, you just got to stare at the chart, and just like Elon Musk, you got to will it to go where you want it to go. That's all you got to do. I wish I had thought about that earlier. I didn't think about that. Isn't that kind of? And then you see some, I see some like some people making jokes on Twitter like, once the chart breaks through your trend line or something, you just move the trend line down a little bit. You just move it up. You just do whatever the hell you feel like doing. Just whatever narrative you want to convince yourself. But seriously, as long as you're consistent with it, that's all that counts, right? But still, that's why as a value investor, even though I'm using it, you still got to have a little bit of a laugh about it. Know your tool set. You know what I mean? Know, just like you need to know the trade. What's the trade? Why are you getting into it? Are you getting into it for a 2 to 3 year turnaround story? Are you getting into it for a trade? That way you can have the stop losses set. Just understand why you're getting into it and then manage it accordingly. That's why when you see that Roaring Kitty portfolio, I say this all the time, but there's so much nuance up here. You got to understand the nuance. Just because there's a position up top doesn't mean it's a buy. Like there are some positions that might be up there. I think they're fully valued. I just haven't got it around to trimming them. And so what's the trade? What are you doing with it right now? Are you on your way out, or is it a 3-month play? I mean, most of the, you start to understand what your style is, and you hone it over time. But even still, this is why I talk about in my videos. I like to broaden my universe. That's why I'm curious. I appreciate anyone sharing their strategies too, because even if I might not utilize the same strategy right now, like Hugo mentioned, and he got it from the 52-week high. I know that I've learned that, like, that's a good opportunity, but I haven't done it in a while. And that's a good reminder for me, like, hey, don't forget to check out that 52-week high list. And so I'm always trying to build out what I consider my stock universe. And I recommend that for other folks too. Like, everyone's always so focused on their circle of competence because Buffett, he trumpets that so loudly. And but I think it's good. Like, try to get out of your circle of competence a little bit to try to learn and to grow. And that's what I try to do. So anyway, what I'm getting at is that, yeah, different trades managed differently. Blah blah blah. But thank you, Fox, for that bit of information. Trey, yeah, I'm learning that now. Just have to learn patience, which I don't have much of, especially with a young child. Yep, there you go. That could be that. The patience. Patience is so key for parenthood and for managing the portfolio. It's such a huge edge, though. It's such a huge edge. There's like a handful of edges that are so critical, like patience and managing volatility and shit, like not letting it get to you, understanding the story, but they're like legitimate edges. I only remember the Facebook IO because I literally played that stock in a fake market in my economics class. There you go. Stock didn't do well, then my other place did well. It was a guessing game. Yeah, with those classes, you only got like 3 to 6 months. Who the hell knows what to pick? Their underwriters failed to support it. Well, it bounced back pretty quickly. It didn't take too long, right? Trey, have you seen Casually Explains videos on the stock market? I love them. It's hilarious as an investor. I've seen them. Those are great. I don't know how much on GME's marketing plan. I don't know much on GME's marketing plans. What is their campaign going to look like? How much of a digital footprint will they have? Are they sponsoring any esport guys? I don't know about the sponsorship, but yeah, we don't have too much details on what their campaign's going to look like. Some of us were hoping for more on that call. We'll probably get more as the weeks come. But check out the transcript. Check out the transcript on Seeking Alpha. If you go to, I think I got it shortcut here. If you go to, yes, I do. Just a heads up, if you go to Seeking Alpha and you check transcripts, I clicked on, that was a shortcut for me. Click transcripts. But check it out. They talk about some of the stuff, not precise details on the campaign, but something to check out. But yeah, we're all curious about that. The goal is to have much. FYI, their digital sales are up to 20% of the total sales, and it's rapidly growing, and they expect that this is going to be sustainable growth. So something to bear in mind. They did invest in an esports facility. Yeah, they mentioned that in the video. They teamed up with the Dallas Cowboys for an esports facility. All that stuff's kind of been on pause because of the pandemic, but there's an opportunity there to keep an eye out for. But we hope for more on that over time. That's the big upside, right? We need more on that, but I think that will come in time. Again, it's these two they're focused on. It's like become abundant. Following this earnings release, it's like abundantly clear this is what they're doing right now, which you always want more, but if you're a long-term investor, it's probably the right thing to be taking care of this stuff. I wish, too, that this stuff was already 2020. You should already have a sick app, right? I mean, I get that, but management team still new, blah, 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 a pandemic. But anyway, I agree. Hopefully we get more. They'll pay Roaring Kitty to wear a GME t-shirt as he live streams his buying a console. Yeah, I really like this idea. This is up my alley. This is, like, ridiculous. I would toss on some kitty stuff. Oh, that could be fun. Yeah, let me reach out to GameStop. We'll be like, hey, heads up. We're fond of GameStop. We're fond of your business model and stuff. We think there's a lot of upside. Hey, let's have some fun Let's have some fun. Let's add this to your campaign. I like where your head's at, Fox and Steve. This is great. Robert, I think missed it, but you read Justin's thesis for the short squeeze on GME. You think it's a fantasy. It goes to price targets he was calling for. Did he call for price targets in there, Robert? I don't think it's fantasy. I just think it's not as likely as some people think. I also think that part of I think he said 50. Justin's price target is 1,000. I did see that, Fox. I did. No, again, I'm gonna defend Justin here because Justin, clearly Fox is following the Seeking Alpha stuff, and Justin's a good analyst, right? And right, nothing's impossible. This is why I'm okay with Justin's analysis here, because even though I don't fully agree, I don't even think he necessarily thinks that this is his base case, right? But as far as I'm concerned, it's countering the really pervasive negative theses about GameStop, and I'm okay with it. You need someone like Justin to be like, hey, heads up, this thing could go to 1,000. No, Justin doesn't think it's likely. I'm sure he does. Maybe he thinks. I bet he does. Robert, I bet he doesn't even think 50 is likely. But Justin's out there saying like, here's possible. This is possible, and maybe, but factor it into your models. That's all. 5% probability, 10% probability that there's some crazy VWS type squeeze, right? You can envision the upside and entertain the idea, and but so Robert, I don't think that a major short squeeze. That's not my base case. I don't think there's some tremendous upside. That's gonna. He was basing it mainly on Ryan Cohen taking a position. Excuse me, that buying out the company, which also isn't my base case. You know what I mean? So these kind of weigh on each other. But and my only other thing. So $50 is a $3.2 billion market cap. My only issue with the $50 price point is more in the short term. I think GameStop has potential to get 50 over the long term. Was he saying? Let me just command F50. Oh, he didn't say. Oh, he didn't say 50. And does he say 50 in the comments? I do. Wasn't GME like 6.5? Yeah, so GME was 6.5 billion. And remember, if you look at the historical price, that was before the share count was halved. But in a crazy short squeeze, like if we get a crazy short squeeze, just forget about don't even bother with the price target. That shit could go. It could go in the stratosphere. $100. It could like 50. I mean, $1,000 though. I let Fox say it's possible. That I mean, you can't model that. It's possible. That VW, remember VW was the most valuable company in the world when it squeezed. I think he threw it in the comments. Yeah, so he's very active, and I respect that. Did he throw it on in the comments? He probably did. Is that it? Yeah, look at... No, that wasn't him. Just curious. Okay, but even still, I trust you. It doesn't matter, Robert. I trust you and Steve. 50 totally possible. $10,000, why not? My technical Fox says $10,000, why not? My technical analysis and eye power will make it happen. Hey, see, if there's one thing we learned tonight, it's that the will the will of the eye. We need a phrase for that, huh? We gotta will it to happen. Get it to that 10K figure. But Fox's point still stands. Even if it's a 0.05%, factor in that crazy VWS short squeeze. It's got to be factored in. I don't think it's likely, Robert, that you get up to like that $1,000 price point. Again, I don't even think Justin does. But $50 is a reasonable outcome looking out 5 years. $3 billion market cap, that ain't crazy. That's not crazy. Is that what it is? 3.25. I assume Steve's right. He was Steve, you were right earlier. I'm glad I checked you. I'm glad I tracked your analysis. Now I know you're right about this market cap. Overstock was 3.2 billion. Yeah, that's definitely looked a little bit squeezy, huh? Yeah, we pulled that up, I think, during the stream. I think he threw it out in the comments. Overstock, I know. Overstock was a missed opportunity. Is it here? Yeah, look at this. The second one listed. OSTK. It was a missed opportunity because it looked... It wouldn't have been a high conviction position, but I liked it like later last year, and it was looking interesting. I never would have forecasted this outcome, right? I would have been sold out by now, but there you go. That's definitely squeezy. Yeah. Yeah, on the squeeze, I mean, really, if the squeeze works out, just forget it. I mean, I don't even... Yeah, I respect Justin's article for talking up that upside. Whatever he says, I'd probably be like, yep, that's possible. I'd be really curious about what his base case is. One thing I disagreed with him, though, is that he was kind of like talking up like a $20 buyout price. It's like, why would it be bought out at $20 per share? With the funds who own it, couldn't you see, it's not my base case, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I did it on it the other day, but like, couldn't someone buy it out for $10 and they'll get the yes votes from all the funds? So that's a little bit concerning. That was my quick take for who was asking that, Robert, that just be careful what you wish for. But anyway, I don't think a buyout is likely right now. But anyway, but you don't need the buyout. But that was Justin's focus. But you don't need the buyout for a short squeeze. But I think for a crazy, crazy short squeeze, like you're kind of hinting at right here, I think you need some crazy event that right now isn't my base case. Like I still lean, I've been kind of negative about those buybacks. Just because the way management has talked about them on numerous occasions, we've had multiple quarters right now. I suspect that they will exhaust them, but by the time they exhaust them, the short interest might be reduced. Maybe we are just going to the short interest is going to gradually decline, which it would be too bad because it feels like a crazy opportunity to me that could be exploited by either a management team, and I don't even just mean a short squeeze, I mean a sustainable increase in the stock price, that it can happen suddenly, but the new price stays because of just some crazy narrative, because of being involved with Ryan Cohen or buybacks or whatever the hell it is. It doesn't matter. Some better narrative, I don't know, but it seems like it would be a missed opportunity if this just gradually declines in short interest. But right now, it's kind of... it's close to my base case where I'm not so sure, because every time I read every time I try to intuit management sentiment, I think, I'm not sure that. The one thing that goes against that is the aggression with which they repurchase shares last Q3. I was taken aback by that, because at that point too, I thought, remember they said they weren't going to buy back any shares in June. They were like, we're not buying back any shares, and that's where I'm like, I guess I'm not buying your stock, because you got to buy back stock after your stock just fell 40%. And then like 3 days passed, and then they said, okay, we changed our mind. We're going to do the Dutch auction. And then I said, all right, is that all you're going to do? And then comes September, and then they announced they didn't do any share repurchases. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? You got to do the share repurchases. But then I was like kind of turning sour on the stock. Despite Barry, I'm like, you got to do these. If you don't do these buybacks, and then they surprised me with how much they bought back in September and October of last year. So that's the one thing I'll give them. They did go gangbusters. They bought like 25 million, like 22, I think. And they surprised me. They surprised me then, so they could do it again. But every time I read their like press releases and stuff, and their in the presentations that they had, I go, they don't really seem like the type that they're gonna go ham. They're like, get out of the way. You see some CEOs, and even Musk as an example. But I think the Overstock CEO was one too. I forget, where they just like, we're coming after the shorts. They come after the shorts and be like, you want to play this game? Short our stock, go crazy. We're coming at you. And besides that aggressive buyback, and they did the Dutch auction too. They bought back a third of their shares. That's aggressive. Besides, which is really meaningful, right? It's really meaningful. But other than that, I haven't seen much. I haven't seen more like, let's do this. And you do see that with some management teams. So that's why it's kind of taken away. It's reduced my probabilities. But I'm not holding out for more buybacks. I agree, Steve. It could happen, but that's something that could surprise the market. And then like a crazy beat in Q3. Now expectations are tempered, although the stock price seems to be holding up okay. But anyway, yeah, good comments. 9:30. Here we go. Okay, so what else happened today? I saw some big moves. So new gold, this is good. Oh, what's RRC? Oh, Transeo's at 25. CNR's kind of just bumbling around here. I haven't checked up on these a little bit, so I'm going to open up a couple of them. Okay, this RSI looks good, especially if you stare hard enough. All right, CNR still looks good. That thesis is intact. I wish I had some more insider buying. Nothing recent, though. Okay, FTK. This might be. We've looked at this a ton of times. Oh, someone mentioned on the stream, too, that I should buy more. I got a big reason that it's as big as it is because I got good timing on the buying in. It has a really strong balance sheet for the current play. And now it's crushing. And they had more insider buying. They had more buying. Check this out. Do I have insider buying right in here? I don't. I got to go like this. Check this. He bought more. He bought more last week. He bought another 200K, not huge, but and then he also bought another 400K. I think we talked about that. He's going in. This is it. Now I've already shared a little bit of concerns because they're changing their business model too when it's in the energy industry. But he seems to be increasingly confident in it. Strong balance sheet, positive net, just like GameStop. Talk about the strength of the balance sheet. Someone mentioned this too. I saw someone mentioned in the comments somewhere that GameStop had a positive net, which we mentioned on the stream too. Let me say, I'm not holding out for more buybacks. Fox with the beer goggles equals +1 buff to the will of the eye. Yeah. Beer goggles. We talk about rose-colored glasses. How about to get some beer goggles too? Everything. I'm always bullish, huh? Give me a couple beers. Buy everything. Buy it all. That you do the research at night, but you don't pull the trigger. You don't pull the trigger till the morning time. You know what I mean? You can't be. You don't drink and invest. You know, you can't do that. Okay, it might be time. So this is the thing. FTK. It's I've been hesitant to add because of that risk. I guess I'll dig. Anyone say anything about it? No one's been talking about it, which I like. You know what I mean? Oh, someone posted it. No comments. That's always interesting to me. It's only an insider bias. I'm surprised that Seeking Alpha picked up that. No article. Look at this. Nothing since this. And that fluid stock article was a good one. I might add to this. He keeps on buying. I'll pop it up in the. Let's pop it up. It still looks. Maybe we've updated earnings release. What's the 1 minute pinch shot FTK? Okay, 1 minute pitch FTK. Here we go. This is what I want to put these videos together for. This isn't fair to Fox, who didn't see the stream. He should have you should be able to come to the channel, type FTK, and it pops up. That's like the long-term goal. There should be more GameStop videos for other stocks, but they'll be way quicker. The GameStop video was only 4 minutes long because I'm so dialed in, but the FTK, I can do FTK in 1 minute. FTK has this super strong balance sheet with pretty strong downside protection. They were trading below net a couple months back. But they sold an aspect of their business in late 2018, early 2019, that for more than the enterprise value of the whole business. That's why you see the big jump up in the stock back here overnight. A couple of years back. Am I going to get into a minute? Oh, I'm not. Oh boy, it's been over. So you get boom overnight. It was like a double. It was like a 1.5. They sold one of their businesses and they got a whole bunch of cash. And then what people were thinking, are they going to pay out this cash? As dividend, just sitting on cash, right? With high quality asset. And then when it was trading, and it was still a net. But then what happened was, then the management team and the investors, Nuremberg, who's been getting more involved, he bought more in March too. He's been doing good timing on his buys. But now they've decided not to pay it out as a dividend or blah blah or reshape the business. They actually acquired a new company that's more in it's data in the like data analytics for the energy industry, which I can envision. Like I talked about the green shoots there, and I can envision there being a lot of upside. People being more cost conscious. Maybe they're interested in this type of a play in the energy industry, right? And I have no idea. I have no idea if not there's something there. They acquired it for like 35 million or 40 million, 20 million. I can't remember, but they used some of their cash, and that kind of disappointed some folks because they're like, here they go. Management's going to go try, like GameStop's not doing. They're not using their cash to try to acquire business to reshape. But that's what Flowtech's doing. That's the name of it, right? Flowtech, yeah. So, but anyway, my point being, there's some downside protection. But if it is a company that turns it around, and there is something there, but that's the thing. If Nuremberg weren't buying, I'd be a lot more cautious about this position. But look at these buys, and look at he went right in March too, buying where was it? Yeah, March 11th, dropped $1 million, increased his stake 40%, and then August 20th he went 1.3 million after the run up. It went from $1 to $2, and then he was still buying. And he's on the board now. He's an investor himself. You can Google his name. Anyway, but that gives me a little bit of conviction. I'm like, all right, maybe there's something there. But that's the thing. That's why it's hard for me to add. I get nervous adding to it because I don't know. Did I get? That's more than a minute. I suck. I can't do the damn short stuff. Have you found the bullish bill from the isosceles buffets? What? Trey, have you found the bullish bill from the isosceles buffets? Until the narrative. I don't know what that is, Trey. Oh, am I even reading that right? What's the ABV here? What's the ABV? Fox, the probability with small caps like this is that good things can happen and nobody cares for a long time. You got it. Yeah, Fox knows. That's right. That's why it can be an edge to have that. That's why there's an edge in small caps. It's as simple as that. No one cares. Even GameStop, I feel as though some people don't care, but that's what this is a even smaller cap company. Oh, I have it in the damn thing. It's only 180 million right now, but it's no longer a net, but it's still positive net, and that matters. Long wait. Most institutional investors won't touch anything less than 500 million. That's right. So like GameStop. That's right. Yeah, that's why it's helpful to have institutional support on stuff. And you need to get to that market cap level. That's why I care. I talk about it when I'm doing my, we'll get to the daily movers. We'll see if we got to see. When I get to, right here. So when I get to my daily movers, I'm trying to focus on what matters most. One of those things is market cap. It also helps me assess risk. I don't know if you all agree with this, but just knowing that a company is between 500 and $1 billion back in March, I feel comfortable that there's a good chance it survives. But it's also a heads up to you. Hey, heads up. This thing trades below 300 million. There might not be enough people paying attention. It's from the casually explain. Oh, okay. He mentions more buffet ranges in a given range. It's called a bull. Oh, I got to check it out. Have I not seen that one? Oh, that one when did it come out? Maybe I haven't seen that one. Okay, I've definitely seen some of them. Okay, let's keep. What do we got? 9:30. Okay, so RRC's holding up well. That natural gas angle, the multi-year potential bull market still seems intact. I remain, for now, bullish on it. It pulled back to resistance a little bit. I could have done this a little better, as I mentioned, could have rebalanced a little bit more efficiently. But that still looks like it's intact. That's really the only, for this play, a potential multi-year bull market in natural gas producers. That's the angle here. So I'm not so concerned with these I'm just making sure the trend still looks intact. Boom, it does. Nothing else to do. Okay, Sandridge. I like that. That one looks interesting. Carl Icahn. I think that one has 10-bagger potential. PBF. I saw this one. Oh, that's just breaking down because of those credits. Remember those credits? Doesn't look that great, huh? Oh, but he bought Slim's family. They bought more. Check it. 1.4. I said to my friend, I said, we got to make sure that they keep on buying here. If he doesn't buy when this, because this chart looks like shit. When he did this boom, boom, I'm like, Slim better buy something. And then he did 1.4. Not huge in the grand scheme of the portfolio, but still something. You know what I mean? You just need a management team or investors who care. Who care? It matters. So I didn't add to it, but keep my eye on it. But it wasn't just PBF. It was all the refiners kind of sold off a bit. Look at the same chart. This is the same chart. It's the same risk. Okay, so 11% on Maxar. There you go. That paid to hold out a little bit there. I know it's kind of hanging in there. It might be. I still like the upside potential. It's got a little bit of some asymmetric risk here. And this chart doesn't look bad. A little bit bearish there. Is this the weekly? I could trim. It's speculative. I'm surprised it's as big as it is, but it's because it was up so much. Look how much it's up. It's a 5-bagger. What do you see? That's what I mean. You see a position. What am I gonna do? It's a 5-bagger. Then you don't want to cut your winners too early. Believe me, I've done it so many times, and so now I drag my feet. Sometimes it hurts me. Sometimes it helps me. It's helped me on Maxar, it helped me on Camping World, just as a few like huge winners. And I'm like, all right, let this chart look straight, let it keep running, and then boom, boom, boom. So you got to be careful. But that's why some of these are so like Maxar. It's speculative, but boy, it's still a percent. Okay, I think I may have trimmed it. What do we got here? Fox said maybe long wait. Most institutional investors. Oh, okay. It's a reference to the photo of Warren Buffett throwing his hands up. Oh, okay. Oh, I gotta check out that video. That's my type of humor. I gotta look at that. My favorite Fox. My favorite hobby is to go to the bottom fishing with Carlos Slim. I think. If you're making fun of me, that's funny. Because it's such a profitable strategy, right? You follow Carlos Slim into the depths of these deep value stocks. Oh boy, that's his favorite hobby, with a beer no less, right? Trey, are you looking at biotech? No, not really. Although biotech seemed like it's been one of the laggards, hasn't it? Sorry, I'm gonna scroll for a little bit here just to pull it up. We saw that here. Is it starting to? So, and it's also in my risk column there. Oh, Trey, yo, good looks. A little bit of a breakout, gap up. What happened today? Oh, there was a big acquisition, wasn't there? I saw the news about it this weekend. Was it for a cancer drug? Something huge. I saw 42. Was it 42 billion? I forget. But I remember thinking that sounds really big. Is it? I don't even think it's. I don't know if it's approved. Boy, it's not like M&A will help heat this up. But it was kind of lagging a little bit. Was it? No, this looks pretty. Looks pretty strong. I'm not. I do look at biotech, but I kind of look at what some funds do. Sometimes if I see like a compelling Seeking Alpha article, like if there's a comp out there, I will. But it's sometimes it's difficult. I mentioned this in one of my videos. I was buying biotech in March and April as a matter of diversification. I'm like, let me just pick up some other shit that have nothing to do, that are pretty much completely uncorrelated with all my value plays. So I was like looking up. I think Perceptive. You know, Perceptive is like a prominent biotech fund, and there might be a couple others, but I was like, all right, who's got big stakes in these companies, even though I don't know shit about them, and that's really how I come across them. Sometimes there's a compelling Seeking Alpha article or something, but it's difficult. I would really drag my feet on that. But there you go. Gilead bought. So Fox said Gilead bought Immunomedics. I think it was it 42? Hard to do biotech as a value investor, I think. Real tough. Except when everything's selling off, Fox. I know you agree with this. In DC Connections, he says, to get the jump on FDA approval. So ain't that the truth? That the one time is, again, that rare occasion I'll see a Seeking Alpha article where maybe there's a... it's rare, though. But or when the whole market's selling off. So to your point, Trey, yeah, it could have you some growth plays, but how do you pick? How are you picking your biotech plays, Trey? You know what I mean? Laugh out loud at insider trading, yeah. It's tough to pick those. Like Fox says, you don't have much of an edge unless you're an expert on analyzing that particular type of a drug, which is super difficult and really messy. What phase are they in? Believe me, I've done it. And but the conviction play, right? You'll do a lot of analysis, and I still might only be like 30% conviction or 40%. Nah, yeah, I'd never be that conviction. So I'd do all that work, and it's like the equivalent of a technical analysis play. You know what I mean? I've never really thought about it like that, but now you got me talking about it. You know what I mean? You need to have, like Fox, you need an edge. What the hell is the edge? And the only edge that for me is that if everything's selling off and everything is getting crushed like it was in March and April, then I thought these will bounce back, or these will likely bounce back. And if value keeps selling off, they might hold up okay, even though they're risk-on stocks, but still. Hey, good eye though. That did a little bit of a gap up today for those. Where's Steve? I'm surprised Fossil is so low as a smartwatch. I guess Fitbit and others like it are way down. I like Fossils in the portfolio, Rowan Kitty portfolio, by the way. Look at this chart. Oh, man, I was waiting for it to pull back. Remember we did that analysis? And I'm like, all right, let's just wait a little bit. Shit. This is probably a good indication of what value's doing too. It's recap. It's breaking. It's getting its previous. Shit. How big is it in the portfolio? Shit. Am I going to miss the damn boat on this? Oh, there we go. It's not that low. Okay, it's number 19. All right, number 19. Right there. You can't see it. That's not too bad. Yeah, look, it's a downside protection. Asymmetric upside. Do they reinvent themselves? One thing that scared me though, it didn't scare me. It's not that big of a position, but they would. I think remember we saw on the stream year-over-year revenue decline minus 48%. Minus 48%. What the hell? Talk about getting hit by the pandemic. I mean, that's worse than GameStop. I love my Fossil watch. Yeah, that's the thing. So with some of these retailers, they can be trendy, or even apparel, or whatever it is, they can be trendy. Sometimes they're in favor, sometimes they're not. Skechers is a famous, for me, 10-bagger, where like everyone says, Skechers, but like then they were kind of not fashion. They're not super fashionable like Fossil has been in the past, but they came back in favor a bit. And then who was the other one that had who had the Uggs? Deckers? Was it Deckers? And then they do nothing, and then they do the Uggs, and then they crush it. And sometimes these trendy ones are in favor, sometimes they're not. The Fossil watch integrated with Google, yeah. So they just need to. It's a little bit of a tougher turnaround because I don't have a huge catalyst like GameStop. That was the comparison I was making. Okay, 11%. What else we got? Okay, oh, what the hell happened here? 26%. What the hell is this? Oh shit, what's this? That's a big move. You know what I mean? It's not often we see 26% move for a top roaring kitty. No comments? What is it? Where is everything? No articles? No comments? What is this? What the hell? There's no earnings. What's going on? What is this? What? There's an article or something out? What? All right, you got to check the Twitter sphere. Let's do it. Anyone know about water? No news is better than bad news, I guess. Ain't that the truth, huh? Still 26% move. And energy's not doing shit. It's not like it was tracking energy or anything. In fact, I think I saw pump was down. All right. This is where so much of this is garbage. Everyone look at Twitter? Like I look at like a lot of this is like bots and stuff. And I said this in one of my videos. You try to block it, then they keep on. They multiply. You can't get out from underneath them. They just suffocate you. Shit. There's 8 hours ago. No one's. What the hell? Just volume. Okay. Last thing. I just look at volume. Was it just volume? Well, this is weird. I don't see this too often. What the hell? A lot of volume and just drove it up. What? Oh, that's the weekly. Let me see the daily. Did someone make a move? That's a lot of volume. Was it just because it started going up? Let's see the intraday. What the hell? What's the date? 14th? Robinhood? No. Hey, don't energy. Anyone know? A bunch of watch list junk? The bots are the ones shorting GME too. Beep boop 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 boop. Trey knows. Beep beep boop 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 boop. Talk about bots, right? Talk about GameStop shorts, but even the Twitter, the people about beep beep boop boop. Yo, what the hell? Don't hate. No, I wasn't hating on Robinhood. I'm not hating on Robinhood. Didn't we talk about how GameStop seems like it has? I mean, not so much related to Robinhood per se, but even just a stock that's suddenly. I mean, like meme potential, right? I mean, for lack of a better phrase, we can call it that. Like it's a household name, and the big gaming. Trey mentioned this too. How a lot of folks are gamers who might be interested. I'm pretty sure it was you, Trey. And but then you see stuff like the Kodak, right? We talk about crazy short squeezes and stuff, and people be getting caught on the wrong side of a trade. But when you see something like this, now I think was something just going on here where if I don't see any filing or no one even talking about it. But in particular, GameStop, the short interest, sometimes that could just spark interest and be people being like, yo, let's buy up some of these shares because this is great. What the hell? This is weird. All right. The hell? What's the float on WTTR? Damn, good question. Let's check it. As far as I know, pump is a little bit less, but yeah, let's check. Let's check. So yeah, Fox is asking what's the float. No, what am I doing? He's checking what's the float. Yeah, so it looks a little bit squeezy, doesn't it? Looks a little bit squeezy. I don't remember it being heavily shorted, but let's check this. Oh, jeez, what am I doing? Look at that. Short percent of float, only 3%. What is the float? 62. That's not bad, Fox. So, looks pretty liquid. What do you think? And it's a big market cap, too. Can you see this? The float, 62. Shares outstanding, 86. Short ratio, 9. Not small, but not high either. Short percent of float, 3%. Looks okay to me. Dale profits. 2 hours late. What did I miss? Cheers, Dale. You didn't miss much. You missed Fox staring at the damn screen for like 20 minutes straight, trying to will some stock prices higher. And Trey's been reminding us of the hilariousness of Casually Explained, which has been great. What else someone say? Robinhood can move the market. Just look at Tesla. Oh, that's the thing. I don't know. It depends. I'm always questioning about this. I know that's the narrative, Robinhood moving the market, but isn't it more important about the capital backing it? And I don't know how much capital is within Robinhood that they have enough to actually move the market. I'm not like same thing with the short squeeze. I'm not experienced enough to know about this, but that's what I think when the Robinhood is dominating the headlines. I'm like, where's the capital? Tesla's a huge company. What is it? $500 billion? Fox, his stock is up 26% on no news, and Roaring Kitty says looks okay to me. Oh, shit. Is the Robinhood tracker back on? Oh, yeah. Didn't they turn that off where you were trying to track the Robinhood? Trying to track the Robinhood moves? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see, but the thing, if it were Robinhood or whomever, if anyone was, I would think we would have saw more people talking about it on Twitter. And we didn't see too much people talking about it on Twitter. So that makes me think, I think maybe someone, I keep it up. A lot of volume. Maybe someone buying it up. It's a compelling opportunity, I think, because it's tethered to the energy industry, but it's more about the water rights as it might pertain to fracking, or any water rights, right? That the energy sector might need, especially in its base in the Permian. So there's a lot of upside opportunity here, and I didn't think the balance sheet was all that tenuous, which is why it's as big of a position as it is. And I've kind of just been waiting to what the hell? I have good. So if I have good energy. I have quite a bit of energy exposure. For anyone who doesn't know, I get that up. So here's the energy exposure. For anyone curious, I got 50. Oh, see, energy exposure has been dropping because GameStop's been rising. It wasn't, and energy's pulled back a little bit past couple weeks. It was just at 20%. Do I feel okay with that? I feel okay with that. But water and pump were two. Look at this chart. It hasn't really broken out. Nothing's really happened yet. But I saw pump was a little bit weak, which made sense because energy's kind of pulling back a little bit. I like pump. What's his name? Someone took a position. They took a 10% position back in April that I totally caught and was all like I was waiting for someone because I thought they had a delay in filing their financial statements, and I think that was a risk that nobody wanted on their books in the market messed up. I know we're just looking at water, but I kind of conflate these two. The market messed up on this day. It messed up with a lot of stocks, but the stock just because they had outdated financial statements and now they're updated. Heads up to anybody who's interested. But and it quickly corrected, and now it just hasn't done much for a couple of 3 months. It hasn't done shit, and it's been the bigger position. I haven't trimmed it much because I still think that it could be quite a bit of us. It's super strong balance sheet that you can now see in the financial statements, but it wasn't as evident back in the day because the financial statements were out of date by like 15 months because of CEO fraud. But anyway, someone check it out in March, April. It might have been May. They took a 10% position. What's the person's name? An oil type person. A famous one that I just can't remember the name. This is why you gotta. Also, as Trey knows, I'm a dud. I don't remember shit. Trey, I think it's the individual investors. More people than ever randomly become investors by using a simple app like Robinhood. Trey, I'm very curious. I don't know. But still, even the sheer number of investors, is that enough to move it? I don't know. Fox, I don't know about oil these days. BP just said oil demand will never go back to what it used to be, even pre-COVID, even post-COVID. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Fox, it's definitely in secular decline. Similar risks to GameStop in that regard. And it's a real risk. I don't even have a counter argument to it. That's a risk I know I'm dealing with some of these, but I weigh it against the possible upside too and an upswing in oil and in the cost of production and so forth. There's a legitimate case to be made that we don't get back to there. That's a risk I'm willing to accept. Perhaps it's too much risk I've taken. One thing I will say is that part of the reason that some of these the energy allocation is as large as it is because of how much it has run since the March lows. I'm sitting on some pump is a 5, but like OVV, I've mentioned that a number of times, huge winner. The number of them were huge winners that maybe I haven't got around to trimming. Maybe I should be trimming more rapidly than I currently am. Like this is me dragging my feet, and maybe I should have been trimming. There's a case to be made. I don't know. I'll make a note. These are all oil, or these are all service providers. If the majors are cut capex, right? That's the thing. Yep, the service providers are going to get whacked even more because they're further out, right? More leverage to the industry. They'll get whacked more. I'd like to think that these are a little bit of a stronger balance sheet, but your point still stands. There are broad industry sector risks that I don't take lightly. What drives the upside for the guys below? Yep, if they're cutting capex, it's a thesis on potentially higher oil prices in just generally too. Not so much a play on value plays per se, but I feel as though oil and natural gas too. I guess nat oil is a little bit different, but they've been kind of out of favor, I think, to a degree. So it's kind of the sentiment play too. But indeed, it often comes down to supply and demand, and we'll see. It's good counter arguments. What's the drives the upside for the guys below? That capex will eventually bounce back for one reason or another. But it's a good point. Good point. I like being pressed on these points too. These are good questions for me to think about. I'm also, just heads up, Fox, and hopefully, you may know this, but I'm bottom up too. So I'm often starting with just the balance sheet. That's my starting point for some of these things, and two, of course. Oil below zero. I've noticed that, and then just trying to assess just the level of sentiment out there and what people are thinking about it. And then I just think sometimes these bounce back even stronger than people appreciate it. We're not so much seeing it in the oil industry as much, but again, some of these are up quite a bit already. So we'll have to see. But thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing, Fox. We'll see. What's oil? Now you got me thinking. What's oil doing? I look at this thing. Can I just check it out? It's kind of leveling off. This is weekly? Oh, this is daily. Kind of leveling off the past couple days. This break below 40 was meaningful in my eyes, but let's see what happens there. You talk about Momo too. That could persist. Things keep heading south. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Oh, shit, 954. Oh, didn't I see some other big moves? Look at this. Scientific Games. This is sick. 39%. ASPS, Antero was up today, right? Because natural gas. What the hell? This was, I didn't even see the full news headline. This is sick. It was a small, we definitely just looked at it. What was the news here? Damn, that's a big move. It's a $2.5 billion market cap. Imagine you get a headline this for GameStop. Institutional investors acquire 35% stake at $28 per share. Wow. Sick. Oh, Ronald Perlman. So he's been, FYI, Perlman's been buying this stock up till $30 for years. He's actually pumped the brakes a little bit. But this shouldn't surprise too many. Look at all these buys. Perlman don't give a shit. Perlman's like, buy. Look at this. Look at how much he's poured into it, too. And he's intelligently bought more on the pullbacks. Look at it, 15, 16. He was buying all the way up till 20. Then he bought a little bit above 20. I was closely monitoring this because he wasn't going well above that. And when Scientific Games did break above 30 back in the day, he wasn't buying. He kind of just stopped. Okay, so his firm decided to go heavier into it. Damn. Oh, this is gonna help. This is how much? What's the total? What's how much money? I'm just curious, trying to figure out what that. I don't know, whatever. All right, I'll check that out later. Cool. Okay. Oh, 955, 6 TGB. Oh, look at this chart. Was fun. Thanks for this. Cheers, Fox. Appreciate you coming. Thanks for all the good questions. It was great. Look at TGB. This shit is crazy. Still haven't trimmed yet. Look at this. What am I gonna do? Why do you trim this? Look at how bullish it looks. I might be. Now it's almost a. Now it's almost a 6-bagger. And look at it. I never got a pullback either. I don't know how much I would have added, but I just got lucky on the timing. I think I legit bought right there. All right. I don't know if it's. I still think it go up to like 2, but now we're playing with. Now we're like, where's it gonna go from here? I don't know. Wow, keeps on going up. A lot of green today. A lot of green. CDE because silver was up a little bit. SPR hanging in there, kind of bumbling around. DBI. I do like that one. We researched that one in those. Yep, look at that chart. Looks interesting. A lot of insider support, managerial support too. What's Western Digital doing? We looked at hanging in the 38. TGI. Oh, 19. This one's super speculative. This one could be an ad. I'd like to see more. Oh, we don't have much time. I at least just want to see. Just want to see what move. That's all. Let me get through that. Oh, what'd Bitcoin do? I got the GBTC in here, right? High conviction. High conviction. That still looks intact. Yeah, it's not doing shit. That's all you need to know. What's it doing? It ain't doing shit. Keep going. 8. RLJ at $9. Okay, that's still, it's got some good margin of safety there too. It had a timely asset sale right before COVID hit. Signet, someone mentioned that today. Alex did, I think. $18. I think it's off the top of my head, it's a little bit less appealing now, but it still could be undervalued. MLHR 11%, 957. Oh, let's just see what moved. 8%, everything. I'm more just looking at the price points too. What was the price level? $6, 6%. Helix. Okay. All right. So an update for a change, huh? That's nice. And do we get time? Let's see the big daily movers. Oh, let me move this over. Oh, there you go. Oh, maybe no, it was 9. It went 100% today on that buyout, huh? Wow, that's quite the premium. Scientific Games, Water. Look at that. One of the big movers, TGI. Wow, a couple of the big movers are in the portfolio. That's sick. A lot of biotech today, huh? That was what Trey was talking about. Overstock. Damn, Overstock. That stock is all over the place, ain't it? Red Robin. Look at GME. Oh, it's in the daily movers. It's in the daily. Whoa. I think it's been here a couple times. We just haven't got around to checking it. Oh, shit, huh? But see, now you see all this green. A little bit, just a tad less meaningful. That's all. Look at that. Tesla up at the same amount. Just a slightly larger market cap than GameStop, too. Just a little bit. All right, so a lot up. What was down today? That's a good thing to check. Let's check what was down today. Just quick. Nothing. Look at this. 4 things. 4 things down. Groupon. Rest in peace if you own those 4 stars. No. I just see everything was up today. There was still something down 10%. All right. Do we get time for a quick insider buy check? I didn't see anything happening today. I haven't seen anything happen much. I saw a big guest buy. Look at this. CEO, $1 million. He's heavily involved in his company. I did like to see that. What's that doing? If you don't know, I'm heavy into insider buying. I weight it quite heavily, so I really keep it. Look at that chart. Looks nice, though. He's been buying it all the way up. I think it's got some good downside protection. Yeah, the market messed up that day, too. Went down below 4. That didn't make any sense. All right, not much. Oh, Nikola. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of people talking about that. Oh, no one really mentioned that on the stream. We talked about Tesla, but... I saw FET a buy. FET, 100K buy in FET. FET, FTK... Insider buys, OFC, PRTY, someone else that wasn't, and then PBF. Okay. Hey, 10 o'clock. Okay, shit, we're going long. Hey, we got a little bit of non-GameStop stuff today, huh? Just a little bit of broad stock analysis here, huh? All right. So what did we end up? Okay. $6.99. Is that what we said? Is that what those after hours? Oh, let's check the VWAP just real quick. What was that VWAP? After hours. Volume weighted average price, right? Let's see what it ended at. $6.96. But, oh, right, we're $6.92. Who cares? What did it close at? All right, let's see what it does tomorrow. But, again, it had a little bit of a tailwind here with what everything else was doing today. But let's see the follow-through. Let's see what it does. I think this price action matters. And the break above 7, too, it might be a tad meaningful, too. But this has got to be a little bit. If you were short, if you were short and the stock price bounce backs this quickly, almost to above 7, that's got to be a little bit annoying. It's got to be just a tad painful. But nevertheless, it's just one day. Let's see if it bounces through tomorrow. Let's see if it sticks around. But if this is a sticky price point, if this is sticky, if we end above 7 this week after earnings last week that everyone was so bearish about and thinking so negatively, not us though, right? Not us. Not our analysis suggested otherwise. That's going to be that's going to be bad news for the shorts. And then, but still, we still need the sentiment to change. We still need management to make some moves and get people thinking differently. But I still think just a rising price could help get that going. I'm telling, like upgrades and stuff. Maybe we get more upgrades. I doubt you're going to see some downgrades, but that's always a possibility. Maybe you get some insider buying. I know Jordan's been mentioned about that too. That won't be a huge game change or anything, but it's still something nice to see that shows up on people's radar. Like the 52-week high got on Hugo's radar in the gap. So those are like the thing. And filings too. I'd be checking the filings every day at like 6 p.m. or something. Sometimes these happen after hours. So that's what I've been looking. Price action, making sure volume keeps up too. See if there's even enough volume for someone to make a move or for the shares to be bought back, even though that's not likely. But yeah. Thanks, man. Hystrix, thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers. Steve, next stream Wednesday. Hopefully a much higher price. We'll see. Well, now I've been focusing on GameStop, right? You see the titles of this. That's because that's what we're spending a good chunk on. I'd say if there's more action with GameStop, we probably will continue to just focus on more on GameStop. That's what we're all curious about, myself included. But and then if there's less action, maybe there's more time doing the other research. But I'm also curious on your feedback too. Maybe you like the GameStop talk. This is the thing. I can't talk about some of the other stocks as in depth as I can GameStop just because I'm not as dialed in. That's kind of how that goes too. But still, it's always, I talk about the importance of tracking. That's what I try to do on the stream. It's important to keep your finger on the pulse of don't just focus on one stock. You got to focus on all your stocks because there's other shit happening too. So that's what I try to do. But we just play it by ear. Who cares? There's no script. It's our stream. We can do whatever we want, huh? Steven Dominguez. Thank you, Steven. I got a little bit left to cheer for you. Welcome to the stream. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Great discussions. Great points. I always appreciate it. And have a nice night. Have a nice night tonight. I will see you on Wednesday. Cheers. Oh, I got to finish this. What am I doing? Cheers, everybody. You can have some sleeping kitties to go. Oh, I don't know if anyone's still here, but we had a new song. I put a new song in there at the beginning during the disclaimer and stuff like that. I figured I'd maybe try something out with some new songs. I'll keep testing some stuff out. We'll see. But okay, here's some sleeping kitties to have us go. Where is it? Okay, here. Peace out.